free Odyssey app. Live and local with Matt Rooney on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Surprise! I'm actually in the studio. I didn't lie when I said that I was going to be in Washington, D.C. I was in Washington, D.C. all weekend, but I came back to beat the snow. I don't want to get stuck in the swamp. Would you want to get stuck in the swamp? I had plenty of fun, too. I need some sleep, desperately. Matt Rooney here on the Matt Rooney Show. Happy inauguration weekend, boys and girls. I'm positively giddy. I posted a picture of myself earlier today because I just got in from the District of Columbia about an hour before showtime. And it was drizzling, and it was sleeting, and it was cold, and you've never seen so many police officers and other members of the security apparatus in your life. It's not a particularly beautiful environment right now in downtown D.C., but I'm positively giddy. I was positively giddy down there. I posted a picture of myself saying, look, I'm much happier than the picture would suggest. Kind of cold and a little bit wind-chafed and rough worn around the edges. But we are less than 24 hours now from the moment when our country catapults forward and finally turns the page on the Biden administration. It is a beautiful thing. And I'm going to share with you more of what I experienced down in Washington, D.C. in just a moment on tonight's program here. Do we have the YouTube up, Andrew? Oh, there we go. Hi, Suze. Head over to youtube.com, folks, /@1210WPHT if you want to confirm that I am indeed as handsome as I sound. And in the studio, I previously told everyone I'd be broadcasting tonight from D.C., and that was the plan. Frank put together the nuclear suitcase for me. That's what I call it. It's the Comrex, so I could have chosen to broadcast from D.C., but I was watching the weather forecast, and I decided it's actually going to be a little worse down there than it is up here. And so I had a choice. Do I do the show from D.C. and get snowed in, and I don't get to walk down to the Capitol and see the president anyway? I had pretty good seats when I was outdoors. But now I'm going to be watching it at my swanky hotel room like all the other schmucks, right? So I could have done that. Or I could come back up here. I could see Andrew Torres in person and sleep in my own bed tonight. So the choice was fairly easy, and I hope that you're happy with it too, because that means we've got the YouTube going. I wouldn't have been able to figure that out myself, Andrew, down in D.C.
Yeah, it would have been tough.
It would have been tough.
Little difficult.
Yeah, I'm a millennial, but I'm a little bit of a Luddite. Yeah. But you can tell my voice is a little tired. We're going to see how much it holds up, because I was out ungodly late. What was it? Let me do math for a second. 2 nights in a row. Friday night and Saturday, and I'll walk you through my time down in Washington. But as the father of 2 young children, I don't party like that anymore. And I want to be clear about something. I wasn't swilling whiskey, okay, and doing cartwheels through any ballrooms or anything like that. That's not. You hear the term ball, right? So you assume that everyone's in gowns and they're twirling around on the floor and eating finger foods. That's really not what a DC ball is. Now, people get dressed up, but what they're doing is they're standing around and taking pictures and chit-chatting, right? As politicians and operatives and other people that are in that industry do. Well, you still end up being out till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, though. And the only time that I am used to being up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning right now is when one of my kids is projectile vomiting because they've caught a stomach bug. So to be in my tux out there trying to make conversation at 2:30 in the morning, it was the chore, I don't want to say of a lifetime, but more effort than I've put into anything in a good long time. So after 2 nights of that, I got down Thursday, had meetings all day Friday, was out late Friday meeting with some people. And then last night I was at the AFPI ball, the American First Policy Institute ball. And it was great. You've seen some of the pictures I put up online. Go check them out if you haven't already. It's Matt Rooney NJ. That's my X account. Saw Ted Cruz, saw Kellyanne Conway. I met the premier of Alberta. Yeah, there was a lot of super conservative Canadians there. Oh, Canada. I wasn't able to talk them into becoming the 51st state, but they definitely want to have better relations with this country, with the incoming President Trump administration. I saw Mike Rowe. That was kind of cool. And I made a dirty jobs joke, and he didn't think it was that funny.
Probably gets them all the time.
He probably gets them all the time, yeah. So it was pretty cool to see him. The list goes on and on and on and on. And I also saw some of our local PA and New Jersey favorites who made the trip down there. So all in all, a worthwhile experience, one I'm going to remember positively for a long, long time. But I am grateful and happy to be back here in the Delaware Valley. I'll be even happier about it once I've had a full night's sleep, if indeed I do get one. 855-839-1210. That's the number here at the station if you want to call in and participate. Tell me how much fun you're having, question me, challenge me, so long as your call is on topic and I think up to snuff, we'll let it on air. And again, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. That's how you get in touch with me. We've got some guests tonight. I shifted gears a little bit because originally I was going to be down there, but you're watching what's happening outside, right? They moved the inaugural inside for a reason tomorrow. The weather has completely upended everyone's schedules. So we're going to be joined in the final hour of today's program by my main man, Dan Cerrucci, who's going to help me break down some of the latest inaugural developments and give us a little historical perspective. At some point in between balls here, coming up in the next hour or so, we're going to hear from Jack Ciattarelli. Jack Ciattarelli is one of the candidates for governor in New Jersey this year. He's arguably the front runner, and he's down in D.C., ball hopping, like many people. Like I was going to, again, before I decided to come home because I am afraid of getting stuck in the swamp for days and what my wife might say if I'm like, oh, yeah, I can't make it back till Tuesday. I couldn't have gotten away with that, Andrew. There was no way.
No, that's...
You're a man. You're a man with children.
Yeah. There's just certain things you just don't do anymore. Like you were talking about, you don't party the same way you used to.
No.
You know, the body tends to shut down at a certain time of the night, and it's just not the same as it used to be.
Yes. No, that's 100% correct. I just don't. You don't have the recovery time.
Oh, twice as long, 3 times as long now.
And you don't have to be doing anything fun. Again,
I know.
I think last night I maybe had 2 drinks over the course of 5 hours or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but sure enough, staying up that late, you would have thought I'd been hit by that garbage truck that President Trump was driving around in.
Yeesh.
Yeah, but here I am because I'm a broadcast professional. I take it seriously.
Dedication right there.
You and I are both here.
Yeah.
Despite all of that white death that's piling up on the streets right now.
Yeah. It's bad in some places. You coming from Jersey, as you are a Jersey guy, certain places in Jersey were pretty bad. The streets I found in Philly actually weren't too terrible. Like you come across the bridge, there's so much traffic on it anyway.
Yeah.
Like you're pretty much like driving just on wet roads. And it doesn't.
Slushy.
Yeah, it doesn't really have a chance to like stick and do anything because of so many cars, and particularly too because the Eagles game is over. People are going to be getting out of there, and I don't think it's going to be too bad going home.
Yeah, I mean, here's hoping. Right now it's 29 degrees, so we're starting to dip. We're starting to dip below the freezing point here. So yeah, pray for Andrew and I. That's all I got to say. We got a lot we got to cover tonight, and it goes without saying what topic numero uno is going to be here on the program. Numero uno for our bilingual listeners. Tomorrow's the big day. Tomorrow's it. At noon, Eastern Standard Time, President Trump and J.D. Vance will take the oath of office, and they will assume the presidency and the vice presidency, respectively, and our long national nightmare is over. I mentioned when I was walking around in D.C. over the course of the past few days, there really was a dramatically different mood than I remember from the last time that President Trump won. When President Trump won in 2016, there was almost the attitude among the residents of D.C. that there was an invading army coming, right? This man they viewed as a buffoon had won a stunning upset victory, one that they didn't predict, they didn't expect, and they were deeply, deeply afraid. Now, I'm not here to suggest to you that the left is not terrified today. They are in a different kind of way, but there was a mix of resignation and joyfulness on the streets of D.C. There were obviously thousands of Trump supporters that, even though their plans were upended by the weather, are still out in the streets. Those little rickshaws that people ride around in the cities, Andrew, and sometimes they play music. I saw 6 of them, and all of them were playing the Village People. So you've got these Trump supporters running around town, despite the fact that it's miserable weather, jamming out to the YMCA. The line for the rally at the Caps Arena tonight, which I'm sure you were watching, probably flipping back and forth between that and the Eagles game.
Yeah.
Unreal. It stretched for miles,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not exaggerating. So much so that when I left the event that I was at one of the swanky downtown D.C. hotels, I was waiting forever for my Uber, couldn't get one. I had to hoof it
Yeesh.
for about 45 minutes
Yeesh.
to get to a spot in town
Wow.
where I could get an Uber, because the Ubers were not allowed to access where I was.
That makes sense.
I was right over near the Treasury building.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard a lot on the news about the security folks. The security apparatus is not only extensive, but over the course of the few days I was there, it would change constantly. And you can imagine why that might be, right? They're trying to keep any potential bad guys off their guard, right? They're trying to catch them off guard. They're trying to get them confused, unable to assess the situation, and therefore neutralize any potential threats. So I ended up, that's the only downside, because we clearly want the president and all his supporters and everybody celebrating to be safe. I had to walk an ungodly distance to get in an Uber. I actually bought another Trump hat. I already have one, but I bought a brand new Make America Great Again hat just because I needed something, because I didn't bring a hat with me. I wasn't expecting to walk.
You needed something to cover your head.
Right. So it was strictly utility.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally I was able to get one, and I was able to get the heck out of town. But it was like Escape from New York.
It's crazy because, I mean, you saw, it feels like an eternity ago, but one of the last rallies President Trump had before the election was the one at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
And it had the same vibes. Like, you saw footage of people waiting outside the garden to get inside, and it was a madhouse, and it was jam-packed, and there were so many people there. And when I heard that they were going to be doing it at the same thing at Capital One, I was like, it's going to be the same thing. And the crazy thing is, and I get a kick out of it because it's literally in the heart of Democrat, liberal, progressive territory, Washington, D.C., and New York City.
Yes.
And it's so funny that those arenas that fit 20,000 plus people are jam-packed full of Republican Donald Trump supporters.
Right.
It's hilarious to me.
Oh, no, 100%. And again, 8 years ago, there was a little bit of an attitude from the people that lived there, a little bit more emotional resistance. Not this time. They feel defeated. They're still down in the mouth. I expect that will change at some point, because politics is cyclical, right? We don't want to delude ourselves into thinking the left has been defeated once and for all. I've analogized it to blowing up the first Death Star. They're going to keep trying to build more, okay? But Donald Trump is certainly at the height of his power today, and we'll run through some of the headlines as tonight's program progresses. But you've heard about what happened with TikTok. We have hostages being freed overseas. Very much getting a Ronald Reagan vibe here, right? We remember when Reagan was inaugurated in 1981. Many of these things happened because all of a sudden everyone overseas, our enemies, realized that they had someone in the White House serious that they had to deal with. And then the last time we had to have an indoor inauguration was Morning in America, Reagan's the beginning of his second term in office, 1985. They moved it inside because of inclement weather. So the parallels are there. And if you believe in divine providence like I do, they're probably not completely a mistake. There's probably they're probably there for a reason, because this is an important election. And tomorrow, even though it's not what some of his supporters were hoping for, they were hoping to be, despite the cold weather, partying on the mall, the National Mall, all day. It's nevertheless going to be a very historic day, and one that many of you have longed for, fought very hard for, and it's here. So, from the onset, I want to say, enjoy it. First and foremost, enjoy the heck out of Inauguration Day. I mean it when I say it. You've earned it. You did what you needed to do to help save your country. But this is only the beginning. There's much more work to be done, and that's the attitude that we carry forward here on the Matt Rooney Show on 1210 WPHT. You can be sure about that. Again, youtube.com/@1210 WPHT. Give us a like if you are so inclined. I see Sue's. I already said hi to Sue's. Mangle Mush. 20 to 30 mile per hour winds up here. Did that start here? Is that coming to Philly? I hope not.
I really hope not.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't, in New Jersey, there wasn't that much wind.
Yeah.
Even after the snow started and started coming down and all that, it really wasn't that bad.
Gmail says about 2 inches so far in beautiful Somerton. Still the most beautiful part of Philly, despite the left's attempts to destroy it. Yes, that's right. They can't destroy all natural beauty, but they're continuing to work on it. Sue says she's in Upper Bucks. It's a high total area, been snowing since 11 a.m. Really? It started that early in the PA suburbs? That can't be. I mean, Suze is a trustworthy person, but Jimmy says, hey, gang. Hey, Jimmy. Head on over to YouTube, folks. It's a lot of fun. But for now, we're going to take a break and play some ads to pay the bills, because that's how we make money around here. And then we'll be back with more of the first hour. We get 3 here of the Matt Rooney Show tonight in just a moment.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Are you looking to achieve your health goals and start the new year right? Well, now's the time to optimize and support your heart health, cholesterol, digestive health, energy levels, and more with Rescue Natural Supplements with their New Year's savings. Rescue is celebrating you, so save 35% on single bottles of Rescue supplements with the code HEALTH35. Try the popular Rescue 1250 Omega-3 for heart health, Rescue Probiotic for better digestion, or Rescue Oracine for more energy. Whatever your health goals are, Rescue has you covered. To place an order, call 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable Rescue product consultant or shop online at res-q.com. res-q.com. Start your journey to better health today. Use the code HEALTH35. Again, save 35% on all single supplements. Use that code HEALTH35. Don't wait. Make this year your best yet with Rescue.
In Virginia Beach, our locals live the life every day. The art of living the life starts by connecting with what matters most: happiness. When you visit, you will realize that happiness is a real place and that it is here in Virginia Beach.
For a complete list of Talk Radio 1210 WPHT's contest rules, go to 1210WPHT.com/rules.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Need new doors and windows, but not high-pressure sales tactics?
If so, give Emmons a call today. At Emmons, we provide top-notch installation service with a focus on quality and customer satisfaction with brands like Anderson and Provia Windows and Doors.
And you can upgrade your home today with our energy-efficient options, which help save you money.
Call us today at 856-885-6677 or visit callemmons.com. From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Do it today at 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
Stay at the YMCA. Yeah. That's live from the Trump rally, or I should say a little delayed from the Trump rally, a bit earlier this evening at the Caps Arena in our nation's capital. Matt Rooney on the Matt Rooney Show on 1210 WPHT. Happy, proud, privileged, all the things, as the Gen Zers would say, to be with you this evening. Fresh back from D.C. I think I left at about, about 2:30, producer Andrew Torres from D.C., and it took me, when did I get here? I got here about 6:15.
How was traffic?
There wasn't much congestion. Mm-hmm. It was just lots of accidents and people driving very slowly because of the weather.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
It sounds about right.
Yeah, there weren't a lot of people on the road. So, no, I wasn't stopped for very long, but there were a lot of boo-boos and fender benders out there on the highway. So if you are listening to the Matt Rooney Show driving around the Delaware Valley or beyond this evening, be careful, folks. You want to live long enough to see the coming Trump administration. It's been reported that there's going to be as many as 300 executive orders signed tomorrow. And if you didn't hear tonight's rally with President Trump from the Caps Arena, which, of course, came about in part because even though they originally had it planned, now they need something for all these people that have tickets. So they tried to give as many people as they could that had tickets for the inaugural, for the lawn, to come to tonight's arena. The president said that he had been counseled by advisors to, well, maybe spread out some of these executive orders, do them over the course of a week or 2 weeks. He said no. He says, we've been down that road before. If we don't do them right away, then they don't always happen. So he might get a hand cramp tomorrow with everything that he has to sign. And we know that there's going to be some goodies in there that we've all been looking forward to for quite a bit of time. They'll involve illegal immigration and some other areas of concern that sorely need attention after 4 years of corruption and mismanagement at the hands of Joe Biden, who's been reported tonight will accompany, along with Dr. Jill, President Trump and First Lady Melania. They'll accompany them in the limo on their ride to the Capitol building from the White House. It's traditional that the outgoing president hosts the incoming president for a tea or a coffee at the White House. It usually doesn't last that long, and I have a feeling this particular coffee or tea is not going to last very long. But they get together. They have some pleasantries. It's supposed to be part of the peaceful transfer of power. It's supposed to symbolize that. And then they're all going to get into the Beast, that giant, heavily fortified limousine that the president has, and they are going to scoot down the relatively short distance under the watchful eye of security to the Capitol building where the magic will happen. Now, normally the president stands outside, right, and looks out on the lawn towards the Washington Monument. That's not what's going to happen tomorrow. It's all going to happen in the Capitol Rotunda. You've seen the Capitol Rotunda on TV most frequently, if you've never visited the Capitol building, when someone's lying in state. But tomorrow, we're there for a much more joyous occasion, the inauguration of Donald J. Trump. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. That's where you can find me online if you want to watch the show as well as listen. And again, our number is 855-839-1210. I mentioned Jack Chitterelli is going to join us a little bit later in the program. I asked him to call in to speak to something specific because he's been talking about it online. This is going to irk my fellow New Jerseyans in particular that are fans of our program and are listening this evening. I know, Andrew, you are a New Jerseyan. Proud.
Very much so.
Very much so. We're a swing state now, bud.
Yeah. Listen, it was great. And I sound really excited when I talk about this, but I really do think we are at a turning point in our state. And I've talked about this before, and we've had this conversation on the air and off the air. You can get a sense that things are starting to change.
Things are starting to change.
And people are excited about the change that's going on, not just in New Jersey, but obviously stuff in PA, and there's, record turnout in all parts of the country this past election.
There's a lot of enthusiasm out there. And, New Jersey Democrats have yet to learn their lesson. I mean, case in point, the script has clearly flipped on immigration relative to where it was just a few years ago in light of what Americans have witnessed at the border. But you just had every single federal legislative Democrat in New Jersey vote against the Lake and Riley Act, except for two of them, Josh Gottheimer and Mikey Sherrill, that are running for governor this year. They didn't vote. They decided to go take a powder, right? So, I mean, it's the one thing that's arguably worse, right? At least the ones that voted against the Lake and Riley Act, even though they're dangerously wrong and therefore unfit to office, at least I guess I can't accuse them of cowardice, right? They had the courage to be ridiculously wrong. What can Mikey Sherrill and Josh Gottheimer say for themselves? But I'll give you another example. That's what I was queuing up a minute ago. In New Jersey, the flags are still at half-mast for Jimmy Carter. And look, I am not a fan of Jimmy Carter. I've kind of, how should I say this? I've been careful with my comments only because I'm a good Catholic boy, and I was raised to believe that you should not speak ill of the dead. The challenge here, of course, is that Jimmy Carter is not just any other man, right? Jimmy Carter is an historical figure, so if you're going to talk about the future, you have to be able to honestly scrutinize and critique the past. And he was a horrendous president and really not a good person. But I try not to belabor it. But with all that being said, he's still an American president. It's all right. You want to lower the flags to half-mast for a period of time. So be it. But many have appealed to Governor Murphy that, hey, listen, Inauguration Day, they should come back up. And, hey, you want to lower them again the next day? Kind of feel like it's been going on long enough at this point, but whatever floats your boat, Phil, right? Whatever flosses those ridiculously scary horror movie teeth of yours. But he's not doing it. So Jack Chitterelli called him out on X. We'll hear from Jack a little bit later on tonight's program about that, and also just get his take on New Jersey 2025 real quick, and also the inauguration festivities, because as I said, he is down there. Many New Jersey Powells are. I saw a lot of them yesterday because we got a big year coming up. As Andrew said, everyone's excited about it. And I can tell you, after being in D.C., it's not just up here. I spoke to folks from Texas, Wyoming, California, who said, we recognize that New Jersey is now a swing state. How can we help you? Also spoke to many of our brothers and sisters in the great Keystone State of Pennsylvania. I, along with some others, Mike Donahue, my buddy, we took a bus across the river back in October to campaign in PA. We were in Delco. Many of them have now said they're going to return the favor and come back across the river in the coming months. So we're very excited about it. It's going to be a big deal. So looking forward to speaking to Jack about it. Oh, the YouTube's active already this evening. Hello, Davy. Hello, Edward. Edward says Chris Christie was a better governor than Jimmy Carter. Well, that's a pitifully low bar, though, bud. You know?
I don't know that much about Jimmy Carter as the governor of Georgia, though. Like, was he like? I mean, did he run his office like he ran it as the presidency, or I don't really know.
There was more for him. Let me put it this way: there was more for him to screw up as president of the United States.
Well, yeah,
there was more opportunity.
Yeah, and he did.
Yeah,
but like you said, we got to be careful about speaking ill of the those that are not here anymore.
Jimmy says, Little X stole the show with his jumping up and down. I think he spoke for a hell of a lot of us adults. So he's referring to Elon Musk's son, X, during tonight's Trump rally, the pre-inaugural Trump rally at the Caps Arena. He said, Elon, come on up on the stage, Elon. We'd love to have you up here, Elon, as he's done before. And Elon came up and delivered very brief remarks, and he brought X up on the stage. And that little man was just going crazy. You could tell that he was living his best life. So X charmed quite a few people this evening. So that's all true. Signs of Autumn says, didn't Biden order the flags half-staff? Seems like a convenient length of time right through Monday. Oh, look, I mean, they're doing this for a reason, right? And it tells you something about the left, right? This isn't just disrespect of Donald Trump and the millions of Americans that voted for him, right? It's petty. It's such a petty thing to do to take a dig. The executive orders that Joe Biden's issuing, I think they're repugnant, but at least I get it, right? You're trying to cram in as much of your policy preferences as you can before the transfer of power occurs. But really? You hate the man so much? You want the flags at half-mast on the day that he takes the oath of office? And you want that image broadcast around the world that governors and Americans across the country in various states are not going to have the flag, the American flag, proudly flowing at the top of the pole as if they were somehow mourning what's about to transpire? Petty, awful people, really. And look, we know why. And I've talked about this before. The left isn't just wrong. I'm gonna hit you with a little science here, okay? And there actually have been studies that have spoken to this. Leftists are disproportionately people that do a poor job of controlling their emotions. They've looked at this. They've done studies. They're disproportionately led by their emotions. Their logic center is not what governs their actions. They feel things, and then they react. Now, we don't want a world run by androids, right? We want people that have compassion and feeling and empathy and all that good stuff. But whether you run a business, whether you're a parent, right? Whether you are just interacting with others in an office space, are the best leaders people that make decisions based upon how they feel in any given time, right? About a particular issue? No. But that's what the left does. It's a tyranny of emotion. And then they manipulate people's emotions. One of the many things we need to begin to get away from. And it's one of the many ironies of them making fun of Elon Musk. Elon was stuttering a little bit tonight. You can almost tell that maybe he was a little overwhelmed by the situation. It's clear that Elon is a different kind of guy. You'd have to be a genius and the richest man in the world, right? But there's a man who is extremely logical. Right? I mean, is Elon the weirdo? Or is the true weirdo someone who pretends that there's 57 genders just because their emotion leads them to that? They don't want to be mean to somebody, or they feel that it's true. That's why I've always hated that expression, live your truth. There's only one truth. Doesn't matter how you feel about the truth. Well, while we're on that subject, Andrew, because somebody actually asked me this on X a moment ago. They said, Matt, what did you see in the way of protesters when you were down in D.C.? Well, I didn't see that many. I'm going to be honest with you. And I don't think it was just the weather. I did see one woman with a fish on her head. And she had a sign that said that Donald Trump belonged in jail. And then the flip side of the sign was Joe Biden with a halo on. So I don't know what to tell you, Andrew. You're looking at me like I have a fish on my head. I can't explain it.
I mean, ironic is a word that fits that, but I wouldn't. I feel like that's a little under describing that kind of a situation there.
I wanted to roll down the window and yell at her, and now the representative of the mer people.
Jeez. I mean,
freaky, but there weren't that many of them, and I did see some with the kitty cat hats, little pink kitty cat hats that they wore around, and they had a march. And you can't see it unless you're watching on YouTube. I'm doing some air quotes. It's a march. There weren't that many people there. In 2016, there were thousands of protesters. I think they were lucky if there was 1,000 people at this thing today. I think it was less. I think it was probably more like a few hundred. They rebranded. 8 years ago, they were the Women's March because they were running around telling everybody Donald Trump, when he's inaugurated, he's going to steal your birth control pills. He's gonna tie your ovaries together, right? Didn't happen, of course. But they've rebranded. They're no longer the Women's March. It's now the People's March, which
they're trying to be inclusive,
right? But back to your point about irony, do they have no sense of why they lost? I mean, you're now once again pretending that you could be a woman if you're not a woman, right?
I don't know.
Pregnant people.
Did it surprise you that there weren't that many protesters?
No. Didn't. I think that the worm has turned on this.
Mm-hmm.
I think the left has exhausted its own base with the hyperbole about Donald Trump over the course of many years now. And there's still plenty of people that hate him, don't get me wrong, right? It's not like Donald Trump won by 15 points, right? There's still plenty of folks out there in this country that have malice towards our president, or they're deluded into believing that he's a bad guy. But the problem with running a campaign and building a movement exclusively around personality, right? That they hate this man, he's Hitler, he's evil, he's Satan, he's whatever, is that when your claims about the individual don't come to fruition, then your movement is built on sand. It's a house of cards. It collapses. And that's what happened in 2024, among other things. So, I mean, what are they marching against? What's their organizing principle today? Right? I mean, even just take abortion. In 2016, it was hypothetical. Well, now what's happened with abortion has happened, right? The Supreme Court has probably correctly, from a constitutional perspective, kicked it back to the states. States are making their decisions, right? And I mean, what are you advocating for the president to do? Right? It's out of the federal government's hands at the moment. The only decision Donald Trump's going to make as Republican presidents when they come into office, they usually sign an executive order limiting federal funding for abortions, which, again, goodness gracious. I mean, regardless of how you feel about abortion, I think it's abhorrent. But we should be able to agree that with so many kids going hungry in this country, with our border collapsing, with so many other priorities, that's what we're spending our money on, somebody's decision to go get an abortion. You want to kill your young, do it with your own cash. I'm not paying for that. But long answer to short question, Andrew. The march today was pretty unimpressive. I'm looking right now over on Hot Air. They have some images from the march, and it's the usual folks you would expect, even though they no longer want to be the Women's March because you can be a woman with a penis too. It's mostly kind of haggard-looking white women, probably with advanced degrees in women's studies and Eastern handpan music.
So such useful information to have when you go to school.
Yeah. Here's one sign. My outrage won't fit on this sign. Probably said the same thing to her therapist. And then our granddaughters deserve better. you're the one that wants to make it legal to kill them. So I think they deserve better than you, right? And I hate to say it, they all look the same, right? Like, I'm looking at this picture. There's a couple guys at the march today that probably sit down to pee. And then it's mostly people that you can just tell that they're sad. They're sad. And I wish, this isn't me trying to troll, and if it has that effect, I'm not going to lose sleep over it, but you wish these people could just stop being so angry and accept the fact that President Trump has made it possible for us to do something incredible together here. For the first time in a long time, there's a new coalition, a diverse coalition in this country that can accomplish a lot of good. And I think the Democrat Party is quickly going to have a choice here because the American people are watching. Are you going to help Donald Trump undertake these big things because people voted for change in this country? Or are you going to obstruct and you're going to complain? Are you going to continue to fall back on the same old playbook? If you do that, I've been wrong before, and I will be wrong again at some point, but I don't think it's going to play well. I don't think it's going to help Democrats, most importantly, recapture that which they have lost. But we'll find out very shortly, starting again tomorrow. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. This is Matt Rooney on The Matt Rooney Show. Quick timeout, and we'll be back with more in a second.
Well, here we are again, and this is looking like a pretty lopsided matchup, Jim.
That's right, Ron. I mean, in one corner, we've got a 175-pound guy, and in the other, a 6,000-ton heavyweight train?
Jim, this guy has no idea what he's getting himself into.
Ron, the size difference alone is staggering.
Oh, unbelievable, Jim. And this guy is acting like he doesn't have a care in the world.
What is this guy thinking, Ron?
Well, this is one of those rare moments where I actually find myself at a loss for words.
I can hardly bear to watch.
It's no contest. Every day, people tempt fate and die trespassing on railroad tracks. Railroad tracks are more dangerous than you think. See tracks, think train. For more safety tips and information, visit ctracksthinktrain.org.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
Think about it with the Eagles. Every week, all right, we're going to show Pats. We're going to show the steps. And when an Eagle fan does something stupid, bozo in the 700 level, that doesn't speak volumes to all of us. There's always a few bad actors.
I'm just surprised that it did not end up in a fist fight. You know what I mean?
If you're leaving the stadium and there's a bunch of drunk idiot fans yelling at your wife, do you immediately take out your phone and start filming, or do you do something about it? You do something about it.
Get in their face.
My crowbar.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Oh, the book lover's heart. It's too healthy for words.
And the nature lover's heart, it flies high with the birds.
See the art lover's heart, throbbing vibrant with color.
And the food lover's heart, it's as sweet as a cruller.
Hear the music lover's heart, how it's always in tune.
And the night lover's heart shines as bright as the moon.
But the heart of someone with pulmonary hypertension, PH for short, labors. PH puts unbearable stress on the heart, which can cause death from heart failure. And it's often misdiagnosed as asthma. But with early, accurate diagnosis, new treatments are helping people with PH live longer and better. The Pulmonary Hypertension Association gives hope to PH patients and caregivers. We want people to have
a heart that is strong for a life rich and long.
We're putting our heart into finding a cure. Learn more at phassociation.org. That's phassociation.org.
Let King Shooter Supply in King of Prussia help protect you and your family. King Shooter Supply has over 200 years of combined firearms experience to help you get what you need to protect what you love. They gladly welcome beginners into their family of competitive shooters, recreational shooters, law enforcement professionals, and hunters. They'll guide you through the nuances of finding the right firearm, ammunition, and accessories that you need for self-defense. Visit them at 346 East Church Road in King of Prussia. Visit them on Facebook or at kingshooters.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com. The election is over and a new pro-business administration is about to begin. At Swish Funding, we're ready to help America's small businesses thrive in 25. Whether it's for cash flow, expansion, or new equipment, Swish Funding has flexible funding options from $25,000 up to $2 million. You could get a decision in minutes and cash in your account in as little as 24 hours, with rates as low as 8%. To qualify, be in business at least 1 year, with monthly revenue of at least $50,000. Apply today at swishfunding.com. SWISH funding.com.
Hey, this is Jimmy Fallon in the house, and dig this, folks. This is not a drill. It's the real thing. You can now join me weeknights from 7 to 10 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT or anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
Trump spending tonight at Blair House. By the way, that's the traditional stopping off point for presidents before inauguration. And he's actually been there for most of the weekend. Blair House, have you ever seen it when you visited D.C., Andrew?
It sounds familiar. I'm not 100% sure if I've been around.
It's somewhat unassuming. So it looks like a nice row home, a nice townhouse in the middle of Washington, D.C., close to the White House. It's kind of got a white or cream face. And Charles de Gaulle, Elizabeth II, the Emperor of Japan, they've all stayed there. So it's reserved sometimes for high-level foreign dignitaries.
Fancy.
But the president stands there before he comes into power. It's large. The complex, it's actually a few buildings, is 70,000 square feet. Not bad. Can you imagine what the property taxes would be on a 70,000 square foot home in New Jersey? It's tremendous. And it has 119 opulently decorated rooms. So it's a place for the president and his family to hang out. They have little get-togethers. I think there's a little fountain and a garden in the back. So that's where the man himself will be relaxing tonight, enjoying his final moments before he officially becomes the 47th president of these states united. I'm still thinking about what I'm going to do. Again, I mentioned at the beginning of the hour, I decided not to stay in D.C. They moved it indoors. I had a place that would have been fun to watch it with some good people, but I decided, you know what? If I'm not going to actually be in the rotunda, I'm just going to come home and beat the snow. But, I do feel for everyone that went down there to watch it and is going to be unable to see it in person because it is a miraculous thing. Dan Cerrucci's going to join us in the final hour of tonight's program because he's been to a couple of inaugurals. The only one that I've been on the lawn for was George W. Bush in 2004. And it was frigid. And the president was the size of an action figure, right? Because he's so far off. But it's something to behold. It's the grand pageant of our country's federal system. And the parade is something else. They're not sure what they're doing at the parade at this point. Typically, they set up a grandstand outside of the White House, and the president and his immediate family, the vice president, his family, watch it from there. There was talk of moving it to the Caps Arena, which they still might do. And there's a military review. There is this year, supposedly, the garbage truck that President Trump famously got behind the wheel of after Joe Biden referred to his supporters as garbage people. So, one final nice little middle finger to the outgoing administration, if we do indeed get a parade tomorrow.
Should serve McDonald's at the parade.
Oh, I'm sure they will. I think the president
That'd be great.
He should throw Big Macs.
Throw Big Macs and fries
to the
into
crowd.
the crowd.
Absolutely.
Ugh.
Extra salt. They could have a salting truck come along,
The Big Mac sauce coming out of a cement mixer or something like that.
Wouldn't that be incredible? Who knows?
Go big or go home. That's what I say.
Go big.
It's Donald. It's Donald Trump either way. So
if anyone's going to do it,
That's what I'm saying.
It's going to be the Donald himself. I am sure there will be some type of McDonald's incorporation into the inaugural. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the inaugural balls they end up serving it. The one I went to was mostly dessert because these things start late, right? I mentioned earlier I'm not equipped for this kind of thing. The one I went to did not start until 9 p.m., so it's not really the dinner hour. Now, had they given me some shrimp, I would have eaten it. Absolutely. It's never too late for giant cocktail shrimp. But the one I was at had little creme brulees in a cup and things like that. But some of these inaugural balls will get quite elaborate with the food that they serve. But really, it's a lot of standing around and talking. So we will see what tomorrow brings. Obviously, 1210 WPHT will be on air covering the festivities. You know you can tune in here and you can listen to Nick Cale starting at 6 a.m., Dom Giordano, Rich Zioli, Dawn Stensland, the whole gang. They'll be watching D.C., and they'll have their finger on their pulse of maybe the most historic inaugural of our lifetime. There's a pretty good chance of it. Again, 855-839-1210 is the number here at the station. Over on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. I am Matt Rooney. This is the Matt Rooney Show. 1 hour, done. But 2 hours still left to go here on 1210. Don't go anywhere unless it's to fill that coffee mug. Be back here in just a few.
This Monday, January 20th, join WPHT at 6 a.m. Cale and Company will be live at the Newtown Athletic Club for the inauguration of Donald J. Trump. Dawn Stensland will be there from 10 till noon, and Dom Giordano from noon till 3. The Newtown Athletic Club is one of the top lifestyle clubs and health and wellness centers globally. Visit newtownathletic.com. You can't be at the inauguration, but you can be with fellow Patriots. Monday starting at 6 a.m. at the Newtown Athletic Club, live on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
The Birds overcome the weather to defeat the Los Angeles Rams, punching a ticket to the NFC Championship. Hamas releases 3 hostages as the Israel-Hamas ceasefire is now in effect. And TikTok restores service to U.S. users after going dark Saturday night.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-250-7807. 800-250-7807. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-250-7807.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
When I grow up, I want to be a glass countertop in a new home.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's best birthday present.
When I grow up, I want to be a football stadium.
When I grow up, I want to be a warm fleece on a cold day.
When I grow up, I want to be a fancy backsplash.
I want to be a bike that races around the country. When I grow up, I want to be a bench on a forest trail. I want to be a rocking chair on a sunny porch. I want to be a skyscraper.
I want to be When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. A public service advertisement brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
We achieved an epic ceasefire agreement as a first step toward lasting peace in the Middle East.
President-elect Trump a short time ago at a pre-inaugural rally in the nation's capital. The first Hamas hostage release sent 3 Israeli women home, and Israel has begun releasing Palestinian prisoners. Along with jubilant crowds in Gaza and Israel, Palestinian supporters are celebrating in San Francisco.
The rally, some 1,000 strong, included hundreds of Palestinian supporters, many hopeful the ceasefire will last.
Obviously, seeing the videos of people celebrating in Palestine and elsewhere brings a lot of joy, and that has been a demand since the beginning of the movement. So we celebrate the victory that it is in that way.
Shay Esperi is with Healthcare Workers for Palestine. She is cautiously optimistic.
I am relieved for now.
Jeffrey Schaub for CBS News, San Francisco.
CBS's Rami Inocencio reports the released Israeli hostages are being checked out.
Getting out of that Hamas vehicle, it appeared they were able to walk on their own, which will be a relief to many who feared their condition. They will still go through checkups and a long physical and psychological journey to try to now reintegrate back into society.
At his D.C. rally, President-elect Trump promised he'll be busy tomorrow afternoon.
Every radical and foolish executive order of the Biden administration will be repealed within hours of when I take the oath of office.
Trump will also try to save TikTok from being banned here, says his incoming national security advisor, Mike Waltz.
I don't want to get ahead of President Trump on the deal, but he is definitely wanting to have the time right now, which would mean an extension, to evaluate the deals that are on the table.
Firefighters in Southern California are bracing for more fire-creating winds as they continue battling the Palisades and Eden fires. National Weather Service meteorologist Rich Thompson.
We have the expectation of some critical fire weather conditions. More specifically, we're going to have another round of Santa Ana winds across this fire, anywhere beginning during the day on Monday and continuing through Thursday evening.
A top government leader in Virginia has received a pardon from President Biden.
Don Scott, the first ever African-American Speaker of the House in Virginia, says the clemency issued to him by President Biden is proof comebacks and vindications are possible. He told CBS News he is overcome with emotion by the president's decision. He pleaded guilty in the 1990s to a nonviolent drug crime, got a nearly 10-year prison sentence, and says he is a changed man.
CBS's Scott McFarland reporting. This is CBS News.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You could save big when you bundle your auto, home, motorcycle, RV, or boat. Visit Progressive.com.
The county just requested more electric charging stations.
Orders have really amped up at Able Electric.
We need 3 more at First and Main, and we just got another hotel chain.
It's no shock. Able Electric needs able electricians.
Grocery store wants charging stations too.
And fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then, someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
A teenager in Southern California is bringing joy to young people coping with devastation from the wildfires, as CBS's Deborah Rodriguez tells us.
These are bags just filled with beauty supplies, all from Harley XCX.
Avery Colvert, an 8th grader whose middle school in Pasadena burned down, started a donation drive on Instagram called Altadena Girls to help her classmates who lost homes.
They didn't have anything besides the clothes on their back, especially if you're a young teenager. The clothes you wear, the way you do your hair, your makeup is a part of your identity and it is a part of you. They don't have any of that anymore.
14-year-old Avery's efforts have been so successful, a warehouse in the Boyle Heights is chock full of everything from deodorant and pimple patches to new clothing, sports bras, and tampons. Her account now has a link for monetary donations as well. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
The wildfires have destroyed more than 12,000 structures, many of them homes. Michael Toscano, CBS News.
The county just requested more electric charging stations.
Orders have really amped up at Able Electric.
We need 3 more at First and Main, and we just got another hotel chain.
It's no shock. Able Electric needs able electricians.
Grocery store wants charging stations too.
And fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Live and local with Matt Rooney on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Welcome back, old friends, new frenemies, and all who lie elsewhere on the spectrum that is life. Matt Rooney on the aforementioned Matt Rooney Show. Honored, privileged, positively tickled to be with you on Inauguration Eve. The big day has finally come, boys and girls. Make sure you leave your Diet Coke and Big Macs out for Donald Trump tonight, or when he comes down the chimney, he won't be leaving anything for you. There'll be no executive orders in your stockings, producer Andrew Torres.
No, there won't. It's I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know.
Make sure you stop before the snow gets too big, too dusty.
Yeah. I don't know. It's been a long weekend, my friend.
I was gonna say, where's your joy? Did you fall out of a coconut tree or something?
No. Well, it's actually kind of it's interesting. So, and we talked about this before. Like, my family and I were also just in D.C.
Yeah.
Or the D.C. area, close to past D.C. in Virginia.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's a family emergency we had to.
To grapple with.
Yeah. So, talking about the drive, back up this way, it took us. We were driving pretty late, so we didn't leave the area until about closer to 10 p.m. last night. And so because it wasn't as bad traffic-wise, because nobody was on the roads,
right,
and the snow obviously hadn't started yet, it took us about 3 hours and 15 minutes to get back.
Yikes.
But compared to your 4, I'll take the 3 and 15.
Yeah, it took me about 4 hours.
Yeah.
And that was because for a good chunk of the time that I was on the road, I was driving at 60 miles per hour.
Yeah. I cranked it up to 80.
Yeah, you couldn't do 80 tonight.
Yeah.
You couldn't get there. I mean, I guess you could have, but you might have ended up in a ditch.
Yeah.
And what would we do without Matt Rooney on the Matt Rooney Show? It wouldn't be the Matt Rooney Show anymore.
It would be the show.
Yeah, it would just be the Andrew Show, which, I mean, we could
or
do,
the Piazza Premium Automobile Show, whatever's on the thing right there. So.
Yeah, I mean, you can just look at the blank screen for a while.
Yeah.
And as lovely as the automobiles are,
yeah,
right? They don't provide conservative commentary.
No. It's not the pre-inauguration show that everybody would have been looking forward to.
That's right. That's right. So, despite the fact that my voice is a little hoarse from being up super late a couple nights in a row at events down in Washington, D.C., and yes, I am a little tired, I am fortified. I am fortified by the confidence I feel in what is to come in the days and weeks and months ahead of us here as President Trump returns finally to the White House in under 24 hours. Actually, let's do a little math right now. Those of you that didn't learn mathematics from the teachers' unions can probably do this. We're at about 16, right? Little under 16 hours until it happens. That's big. That's big. I'm excited. I'm going to watch it tomorrow. And I know you will too. And as you heard from me in the last hour, and I think they played a promo over the break between hour number 1 and hour number 2, we're going to have all-day coverage here of the inauguration at 1210 WPHT. So you're not going to miss Any of that. Here's what I recommend. You can have the inaugural on your television, but mute it, and then you can listen to 1210. So you get the best of both worlds. It's going to be something special. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. You can head on over there right now to YouTube. Give us a like. You can confirm that I am indeed as handsome as I sound, even though I don't sound as good as I usually do this evening. I got a little tickle in the back of the throat. You can also call in 855-839-1210 if you wish to opine. Heading back over to YouTube for a second. Davi says, Matt Rooney, we love your twin brother's channel. What's my twin brother's channel? Davi, you're going to have to elaborate on that. They think I look like someone. Who do I look like? I mean, it's a very lucky person, whoever the heck you think it is.
Unless you have a twin and he was born first, in which case you look like him.
No.
Isn't that how that works with twins?
Well, someone has to come out first. You can't come out at the same time.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if
God saved the poor woman that had two twins at exactly the same time.
Well, it's like if your twin was born first, that means you look like him, not the other way around, right?
Oh, okay. You're being a little hyper technical there, but accurate.
My older brother is quite known for calling me out on my hyper technicalness, as you say.
Your hyper technicalness.
Uh-huh.
Well, it makes you a good producer.
It does.
Annoying, not fun at parties.
You haven't been to a party with me, though.
That's true. You might be.
You could have brought me along to DC. I would have. We were there at the same time, basically. Like, you could have let me know, and we would have done something.
We could have done it.
I would have brought out the 3-piece suit.
Well, I originally thought about doing that, bringing one of you guys with me, but I'm too cheap, and I couldn't get Stocker to pay for it. And then we don't know where Producer Dan is. Here's what I think is happening. I think Producer Dan's on suicide watch because he was so worried about what was going to happen with TikTok. And now it sounds like TikTok is going to remain up for the time being.
Yeah, 3 months.
Yeah, because President Trump is preparing, as one of his many executive orders, there's going to be over 300, a plan to, I guess the best way to explain it from the details we have is that he's going to extend the period of time before the prohibitions of the current law outlawing TikTok go into effect.
It's like,
and that's going to provide time for him to create a national security workaround. The one thing that President Trump spoke about tonight at his rally at the Caps Arena in Washington, D.C., to a packed house, was that he thinks that the U.S. may be taking a 50% ownership position in TikTok as part of this arrangement. So we got to get the details, right? We don't know much at this point. But, most importantly for all of you, what you need to know is that producer Dan Valdez, when he eventually returns to the program, he will return to the program because he'll still have a purpose, and that is to produce Twit Talk. Is positively bizarre, sometimes perverted, sometimes accidentally entertaining segment that we usually do at the end of the Matt Rooney Show. People are still texting me, by the way, as I'm sitting here on air. If I sound distracted for a second, hey, are you at the inauguration? I'm at this ball. I'm at that ball. No, folks, I am no longer at the inauguration. I already explained that. I was originally going to go for the entire time. I went down Thursday night. I was going to stay through Monday. Didn't happen. I got stuff to do. I'm a very important person, and I have things to do, and I could not afford to get stuck in Washington, D.C. if there was bad snow. And it's supposed to be worse down there than it is up here.
That's what we heard.
Yeah, they're supposed to get up to 6 inches. And let me tell you something. As someone who spent some time in the swamp, I went to college in the swamp, even though D.C. is not the South, as we think of the South, it's southern enough where they don't know what to do with it. Right? As bad as you think people drive in your neighborhood in New Jersey or Pennsylvania when the white stuff starts falling from the heavens, in D.C., it might as well be lava. They freak out. They don't plow well. They're not set up for it. So I was looking at the weather forecast, and I'm like, again, if I was actually going to be like in the rotunda, right, which I'm not in the rotunda, different story. So there you have it, right? So I'm back with you, but I'm happy to be here. I just have to apologize to Frank here at the station because he put together this awesome little nuclear suitcase for me, and now I'm not using it.
He actually texted me a few minutes ago, and he texted me. He was like, "How's Matt's connection? How's it coming along?" And I was like, "He's in the studio."
I'm the worst. I don't know what to tell you.
Nah. It's okay. You're dedicated.
At least I showed up, right?
Yeah.
It's not like I went down there and just like didn't do it, right? I came back.
You came back and came into the studio.
I'm like Gandalf, the white man. I returned to you at the turn of the tide. Our country's turning around, baby.
That's like Donald Trump, too.
Yes.
Comes back bigger and more powerful than ever.
Yes. Davy says, hold on, we got an update here. Rita's making, all right, they're saying something. You're saying something naughty over there. They're being naughty. I also really can't make sense of it. Can you? Andrew looks perplexed.
I'm going to read through and see if I can figure some of this stuff out.
Yeah, it might be best
I'll have a report for you shortly.
It might be best to just hit that one on the head with the shovel and just leave it alone, right? Sometimes look, we love the YouTube chat, but sometimes it gets a little wackadoo over there. I was reading this story the other day, speaking of Trump executive orders, because one of the first things that's supposed to happen is that we're going to see raids all over the country. And the immediate beginning of the mass deportation of legals, specifically criminal illegals that are here living among us and committing crimes like the one that violated and brutally murdered Laken Riley. When I saw the article, though, in the Wall Street Journal a few days ago, saying that Chicago was going to be one of the first places that these deportation raids were going to occur, I thought that was a little odd because why would they announce it? I guess it's theoretically possible you would announce it because you'd want these people to self-deport, but you don't have to be a law enforcement expert or whiz to appreciate that it could be dangerous to give criminals a heads up that law enforcement is coming, right? So now we've learned that apparently these are leaks. And that's problematic and it's concerning. And it further illustrates one of the concerns that everyone should have as this new administration begins, that Donald Trump is, and his advisors are, a wiser version of their 2016 selves. They understand the swamp a little better. They're more prepared for what's to come. But the deep state is still very much a real thing. And so someone leaked to the media that there were going to be raids in Chicago and New York. And so Donald Trump's hand-picked border czar, Tom Homan, has said that, hey, listen, now we're going to have to take a look at some of the decisions we've made. This is the actual quote from the Washington Post. We're looking at this leak, and we'll make a decision based on this leak. It's unfortunate because anyone leaking law enforcement operations puts officers at great risk. One of the many reasons why I keep telling you that, the war is not over here. 2024 was a big, big battle that we were successful in. Had we lost that battle, in terms of the struggle between the right and the left, I'll use an example that's close to home, Andrew. It was Gettysburg, right? The war was not over when the Union won the Battle of Gettysburg, but had the South won, the Confederacy won the Battle of Gettysburg and routed the Union Army, Lee, who came in from the North for that particular battle, would have had a clear shot down to Washington, D.C. They would have stormed the Capitol, and they could have forced Abraham Lincoln to negotiate for Southern independence. In this particular instance, we, by winning that battle, do not win the war. But if we had gotten another 4 years of a leftist administration, Kamala Harris, right, as President of the United States, that might have been too much damage for the country to come back from. And that's a theme, by the way. Talking to so many of the people I met and encountered over the course of a few days, everyone was saying the same thing, that, had there been 4 more years of a Democrat regime, the patient may not have survived. But now we've got a shot. And one of the first things that President Trump and his leadership and Mr. Holman are going to have to do is figure out who leaked this, Andrew. Who leaked the location, the cities, the targets of these early raids?
I mean, there's probably a laundry list of people that could fit that, who wanted that stuff to happen. And I think a lot of people are excited. A lot of people are happy that obviously the Trump administration's coming back. They're going to be doing the things that a lot of Americans across the board want them to be doing, closing the border, taking care of that situation, bringing jobs, bringing money and everything back to energy independence is another big one. But one of the issues, and you had talked about it in the first hour of the show, is there is going to be resistance. There are going to be people who don't want those things to happen for one reason or another, whether you're a leftist politician, you're somebody who's on a social media platform and you're spewing certain things about the Trump administration.
Or you're self-interested.
Yeah, and
you serve the wrong master, someone other than the people.
And I think it's more about it's the Trump administration and Mr. Holman and his team are going to have to figure out a way to overcome a lot of those things. And in a way, Donald Trump talked about it before, draining the swamp. They're going to have to figure out a way to do that in order to get the job done when it comes to these mass deportations that are going to be happening in all of these gigantic, massive leftist cities of ours.
Yeah, these cities all across the country, and some of them might be here in our own backyard. I mean, don't forget, New Jersey is a sanctuary state. Phil Murphy declared it a sanctuary state, and New Jersey has a gubernatorial election in 2025. So if there are raids in New Jersey, if you see some raids in Newark, Trenton, Jersey City, it's going to make news, and it's also going to have electoral implications.
Well, and you were talking about Governor Murphy before. He posted something on Facebook.
Old chompers.
Yeah. Or as
I always say the most terrifying thing I can possibly imagine is watching Phil Murphy eat an apple. Think of those teeth and think of him just crunching into an apple. Oh my God. It's
always
horrific. You could use that to torture terrorists in Gitmo.
It's not, whenever I think of Governor Murphy, I always think of Rich Zioli's name that he has for him.
King Philip the Unaccountable.
King Philip the Unaccountable. It makes me chuckle every time. But one of the things, if you notice, something he posted on social media, he talking about the inauguration coming up. Basically, to paraphrase, he was talking about trying to figure out a way to compromise and to work together and blah 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 and all that stuff. And I couldn't help but remember back in 2017 when Governor Murphy he won his first term as the governor of New Jersey. He posted something on Facebook that I saw that was pretty much the opposite of what he said this time around. He was talking back then about, we are going to resist in every way that we can every single piece of legislation that comes out of Washington under the Trump administration.
Oh yeah,
and I'm like, people need to understand what their jobs are. Your job is to serve the people that democratically elected you, not to serve your own agenda. And that's for both Republicans and Democrats. But my problem with Governor Murphy is that so many times you see on social media how he's, he tries to champion himself as the governor of the people and stuff like that. But it's like, you can't have it both ways.
No.
And it's annoying to me. And I know we only have to deal with him for another year. But I think that's
he can do a lot of damage in a year, though.
Well, but that's the thing. And I think...
Look what Joe Biden's done in a few weeks with executive orders.
Well, and to me, it's a lot about it's adding more fuel to people who are in the middle or independent that are going to push them even further to the right side, to the conservatives, to the Republicans. And who's going to be coming on the show later tonight? It's Mr. Chittarelli, who was so close to beating Governor Murphy in 2021.
Yeah, 3 points.
Yeah,
it was 3 points, and that was with no national assistance,
none
of any real consequence. And no real ground game, and poll after poll after poll, election interference telling us he was going to lose by 8, 9, 10 points. Where have I seen that movie before? You raise a good point, though, about New Jersey and its ridiculous policies and the left's initial inclination to talk about resisting Donald Trump instead of working with him. There's an article over at NJ.com, which is a failing news publication. Is NJ Trump-proof inside the brewing showdown over his controversial positions? This is from Susan Livio. Days before President-elect Donald Trump takes the oath of office Monday, an immigrant rights organization held the first of what will be weekly meetings to educate thousands of people on their rights should the mass deportations begin, as he has promised. Those attending the session in Passaic Wednesday learned that if an agent from U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement approaches you on the street, they should ask, "Am I free to go?" Let's let's back up here for a second. So, first of all, what is controversial about anything that Donald Trump is proposing? What don't you like about his America First agenda? You don't like the idea that a country should have borders? You don't like the idea that immigrants that are here illegally, that are accused of violent or serious crimes, should be immediately deported? You find that objectionable, right? You want more government bloat that drives taxes and inflation instead of having some of that money back in your communities. That's controversial.
You don't want jobs back in America and, driving the economy forward in a good way?
Right. You don't want a strong foreign policy where we lead through strength, a policy that not only deters bad guys overseas, but lessens the risk that we're going to be drawn into foreign wars. Where is the controversy? I'm missing it, kids. I don't hear it. I don't see it. I don't understand it. Well, truth of the matter is there is nothing controversial, right? I won't bury the lead. I'd also like to point out, and I'm not sure Susan Livio over at NJ.com even knows this, because the media ain't what it used to be, but Passaic County, where allegedly these meetings were happening, that county, which was formerly blue, just voted for Donald John Trump. Passaic County hasn't voted for a Republican for president in over a generation, folks. And it just went red. And that is a county that is full of, as this article suggests, Hispanic Americans, Muslim Americans, Black Americans. It's one of the most diverse counties in New Jersey. And it just voted for the orange man. These people on the left continue to bark up the wrong tree. They're playing out of an old playbook, and this divisive identity politics stuff, it ain't working like it used to. It ain't working like it used to. The only challenge the GOP now has is, are you going to replicate the model that Donald Trump has now given you to continue to grow this coalition? Or now that he's not ever going to be on a ballot again, best we can tell, right? You think that you can just go back to your old ways, your comfortable ways. I know this is hard for some of you to believe, but I know these people. I've been interacting with these Republican politicians for a long time. For many of them, they'd rather lose because it's more comfortable. They'd rather, I like to equate them to the Washington Generals, right? The foil of the Harlem Globetrotters. If you ever saw the Globetrotters play against the Washington Generals, it's the Washington Generals' job to lose. That's the Republican mentality in New Jersey and in a lot of other places. Can't be that way anymore. It can't be that way anymore. Donald Trump's shown you how. You just got to execute. And if you don't, shame on you. Again, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. I am Matt Rooney on The Matt Rooney Show. Let's take a break, and we'll be back with more in a moment.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Are you looking to achieve your health goals and start the new year right? Well, now's the time to optimize and support your heart health, cholesterol, digestive health, energy levels, and more with Rescue Natural Supplements with their New Year's savings. Rescue is celebrating you, so save 35% on single bottles of Rescue supplements with the code HEALTH35. Try the popular Rescue 1250 Omega-3 for heart health, Rescue Probiotic for better digestion, or Rescue Oracine for more energy. Whatever your health goals are, Rescue has you covered. To place an order, call 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable Rescue product consultant or shop online at res-q.com. res-q.com. Start your journey to better health today. Use the code HEALTH35. Again, save 35% on all single supplements. Use that code HEALTH35. Don't wait. Make this year your best yet with Rescue.
Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause, brought to you by the Labor and Energy Alliance this Saturday night at 6. Find out about the important issues that will affect you. The Labor and Energy Show, Saturday night at 6 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
If not me, then who? This ethos is driving the Travis Manion Foundation to empower veterans and families of fallen heroes to develop character in future generations. In 2007, Marine First Lieutenant Travis Manion was killed in Iraq while saving his wounded teammates. Travis's legacy lives on in the 5 words he spoke before leaving for his final deployment. If not me, then who? Guided by this mantra, veterans are continuing their service, developing strong relationships within their own community, and thriving in their post-military lives. Visit travismanion.org.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Local news can come at you fast. Want the latest on what's happening in your backyard? Download the free Odyssey app. Follow your local news station, and you'll get alerts on the top stories making headlines in your city. You can stay in the know, no matter what you're up to, and be among the first to find out when news breaks. Plus, keep tabs on weather and traffic, so you're never caught off guard. To get started, download the Odyssey app. That's AUDACY, and follow your local news station.
I believe in you. Just 4 simple words, but to a child in need, they mean the world. I believe in you means you have potential. You are special. You matter. When you become a child sponsor with Save the Children, you're saying, I believe in you. You are smart. You're capable. You will overcome obstacles that most can't imagine. Your sponsorship says to a child, I believe that you deserve a successful start to life and a solid foundation to build upon. I believe you're worthy of good nutrition, quality healthcare, and the opportunity that education unlocks. Becoming a Save the Children sponsor sends a powerful message of support. It says, I am here for you, to lift you up, to cheer you on, and to celebrate your success. Because when you believe in a child, you empower them to believe in themselves. I believe in you. Just 4 simple words that can bring hope, that can change a life. Visit sponsor.savethechildren.org today and tell a child in need, I believe in you.
Hey, Warminster, we know your favorite station is WPHT.
Tell your smart speaker to play 1210 WPHT.
I don't get a vote, but personally, I think Donald Trump should come out to the eye of the tiger. Can you imagine that, watching that on TV, him entering the Capitol Rotunda? Oh, that would be amazing. Also, it's appropriate playing a little eye of the tiger because the Birds were successful this evening. They prevailed. They're on their way to the championship game. 28-22. It was a good game, actually.
It was good. The ending, I had it on the TV right here.
And it's how football should be played. It should be wet. It should be cold. It should be ugly, baby. That's how it should be this time of year. That's why I hate when they have the Super Bowl in warm locations. I know it's for advertisers. It should always be played in a blizzard.
They have it in, like, vacationable areas. Florida, Arizona, Southern California.
Because it's all about money for the NFL.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, from a business perspective, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and look, I'm a businessman. I get it, but I want wintry combat. That's just me.
The frozen tundra.
The frozen tundra. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Let's get to our next guest because he's doing tonight on steroids what I was doing the last 2 nights. He's hopping from ball to meeting down in our nation's capital. He is a former New Jersey assemblyman, but you know him best, not for that, not for his extensive business career, but from being the Republican Party's 2021 nominee for governor in the Great Garden State. He came within 3 points of upsetting Phil Murphy, and he's seeking the Republican nomination again this year because he wants to attempt to finish the job. We have Jack Chitterelli on the line. Jack, you're on with me on 1210 WPHT. Thanks for making time for us this evening.
Hey, my pleasure. We're here at the Candlelight Dinner, which is one of the major balls taking place tonight, and great energy in the room with a crowd of about 2,000 people.
Oh, my God. I could feel it last night, Jack, when I was at the AFPI ball. You definitely get the sense that everyone is optimistic and looking forward to a brighter tomorrow, starting tomorrow at noon. Now, of course, many of our fellow New Jerseyans share that sentiment. One who does not, I guess, is Phil Murphy, and you called him out earlier today on X because those flags in New Jersey are still at half staff. You think they should go back up tomorrow?
Absolutely, they should, and a great many people across the state and country feel the same way. So no disrespect to President Carter. We could always extend it one additional day, and President Carter, being the gentleman that he was, I think he'd agree with us as well. But you also mentioned AFPI, Matt, and congratulations to you. I know you're executive director. It's great news that we now have a New Jersey chapter of the American Family Policy Institute.
Well, I appreciate that, Jack, and I know you feel the way that I do. We desperately need something in the Garden State. We need infrastructure. We need organizing principles. We need those America First principles that President Trump just proved in the last election are not only the right ideas because they work, but also were insanely popular with our fellow New Jerseyans. Heading into this 2025 cycle, Jack, we are now in it. How optimistic are you that a Republican is going to be able to get the 50% plus one?
Oh, I'm more than optimistic, Matt. I'm 100% confident we're going to win it this year. And the great vibe down here in Washington isn't just about Donald Trump. It's all about New Jersey. My close race of 21, his performance this past election day has a lot of people now identifying New Jersey as a swing state. And, of course, we know it can be won, but now people around the nation are paying attention too. And that's creating a whole lot of positive energy, and a whole lot of more resources will be on the way to help with this year's election.
No, you're not wrong. Our mutual friend Mike Donahue was with me at the ball last night. He was wearing a Make NJ Great Again hat. He was almost as popular as some of the cabinet secretaries that were there. Everyone wanted a picture with the guy with the New Jersey hat. We feel the energy, and we're very excited about it. You're in D.C., Jack, through the inaugural?
I am. So we came in early on Saturday morning and attended some events Saturday afternoon. We were at a ball last night, the cabinet reception ball. Tonight is the candlelight reception we're at. Great many cabinet members are here. Of course, tomorrow's the inauguration, and tomorrow night we have the Liberty Ball. So I am going to make a late stop tonight at the New Jersey State Society Ball. We've got a lot of New Jerseys that'll be in the room. But we kicked off today with the NJGOP hosting a breakfast that was extremely well attended. So, again, a lot of great energy, not just for the president, for the country, but because of what we have an opportunity to do here in 2025 in New Jersey.
And you've got more energy than me, Jack, even though, and I'm not trying to throw any shade here, I am a tad younger than you. 2 days down there, and I'm flat on my back here. I need a good night's sleep. So I give you all the credit in the world for being able to do what you're going to do now through Monday. Jack Chitterelli, everyone. We don't want to keep him too long because he's got a lot going on, but we appreciate you giving us an update from the nation's capital. And be safe down there with all the driving around. They're supposed to get 6 inches overnight.
We are getting something, but thank you too, Matt, for what you do with Save Jersey and being that conservative voice that we need out there all throughout New Jersey.
Appreciate it, sir. Jack Chitterelli, everyone, checking in with us from the nation's capital. He's making the rounds tonight, as many New Jerseyans and people from all 50 states are down there in D.C. A wintry scene in Washington, D.C., Andrew, this evening.
Yeah, it's still very cold.
It is very cold.
It's very cold. And I my wife updating me as I was coming in, she wanted to make sure I was safe. Like, a good spouse does.
And I feel guilty about even having a show tonight because I knew that meant that you had to come in. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care if it was Dez, but you have children.
Yeah.
You're a decent person.
I try.
Yeah.
I think it's more for, like I said, she wanted to make sure I was good and I was safe and stuff, and she was telling me about, at least back home, I'm not sure what it is outside the studio here, but the winds have picked up just a tad. So that could be something to look on, to make sure that
the wind is picking up.
Yeah.
We heard someone on the YouTube page check in about 20, 30 mile per hour winds earlier.
That person was in South Jersey too, right?
No, that was out in PA. I believe.
Was?
Yeah.
I saw somebody talking about they're in Medford or something like that. So,
Oh God.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll do what we can here. But we appreciate Jack checking in. And I want to let everybody know they didn't time limit us, but I know how it is because you're running from ball to ball to ball to ball when you're down there for the inaugural. So he's probably calling us from the back of a car as he's about to get dropped off somewhere.
Yeah.
And we like to be respectful of our guest times, whoever they may be. Also, shameless plug again. I've been doing it every week. We're sitting here on January 19th, inaugural tomorrow. Coming up on February 4th, I am a co-host and a panelist for the first Republican gubernatorial debate in New Jersey. It's coming up on February 4th, as I said, which I believe is a Tuesday. It's at Rider University. I will be streaming it online. We'll get you more information about that as it comes a little closer. I'm co-hosting with David Wildstein of the New Jersey Globe. I think maybe we'll try to get David on next week to do a little preview. Jack Chittarelli, you just heard of, is one of the participants. We'll also be joined at the debate by Bill Spadia, who is a radio host. And there's Ed the Trucker Durr, who needs no introduction to our audience here in the Delaware Valley. He was a bit of a political celebrity a few years ago when he upset Steve Sweeney. And he lost his re-election battle, but he's running for governor. And then John Bramnick, who's a state senator for North Jersey, up in Union County, LD21, that stretch of the state. He's interesting of the three candidates because he is the one that has been the most vocally anti-Trump in the past. You would call him a never-Trumper. That's how he'd be classified. So it's going to be a very interesting debate. I am working on my questions. I obviously cannot share them with you because, who am I? I'm not CNN, right? I'm not.
You could share them with me.
I'm not ABC.
You could share them with me.
I could share them with you.
Yeah.
But then I'd have to kill you.
Oh. Well, that took a turn.
Yeah, it took a turn. Yeah. No, I have to protect these questions.
It's important. I remember watching.
I take my job seriously.
No, of course, unlike CNN and ABC.
That's right.
I remember watching. I watched it live, the debate between Mr. Chittarelli and Governor Murphy. It had it at Rowan University.
Right.
And that debate was fun to watch. It was lively. It was spirited. It was very entertaining. And both candidates, I thought, did a really good job. But, being a biased, conservative Republican voting person, I thought Mr. Chittarelli did a very good job answering really tough questions, talking about abortion, talking about women's health care, and talking about sanctuary states, and a lot of the stuff that they were throwing at. They asked both candidates the same questions. But he handled himself extremely well. And you talked about it. He did far better than a lot of other people thought he was going to do. And it's like I've been saying for a long time, it's a sign of things to come for the state of New Jersey, especially this upcoming November.
We are a swing state. There's no doubt about it. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And that's, it sounds like that's what he's repeating as he goes around from ball to ball to ball down in D.C. tonight. And that's what I did when I was down there. Everyone I could talk to from every different corner of the country, I told them New Jersey is in play. This 5-point Trump loss is not an aberration. It's real. So help us. Come and help us. We need to be in 2025 what PA was in 2024. And there are plenty of people on the ground that are trying to help make it happen. Scott Pressler, which just had a couple events in New Jersey in the past few weeks. A friend of mine saw him driving around at the shore the other day, right? It's hard to miss, right? The guy's 8 feet tall and has that flowing mane. So big things ahead in 2025. Well, It's time for another timeout, folks. We got to play some ads and make some money because, hey, freedom ain't free. No more true than here at 1210 WPHT. But we'll be back with more Matt Rooney Show on this wintry Sunday evening in just a moment.
Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
We are so excited and super proud to announce that the 1210 WPHT studios will now be the Piazza Auto Group and Piazza Premium Automobiles studios. And we are so excited and humbled for Piazza to serve as our naming rights partner, and we look forward to growing what is already a wonderful partnership.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
By now, you've heard all of our ads. America's largest injury law firm. But what does that really mean for our clients, for you? It means that when you hire us, you don't just get a lawyer, you get a legal army, almost 800 lawyers alone. That army includes an entire legal team, specialist lawyers, investigators, and a 24/7 client satisfaction staff. Just like if you were going into surgery, you wouldn't trust one person to handle the paperwork, the scheduling, the anesthesia, and the surgery. Have you ever seen a surgeon operating alone and without resources? No way. Why would you trust a small firm with your case? Your case is a big deal to us. When it comes to law, size matters. We're America's largest injury law firm, Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-250-7807. 800-250-7807. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-250-7807.
Free speech in Philly on Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
We've got some more news, or previews, if you want to call it that, of Donald Trump's avalanche of impending executive orders. I told you it sounds like he may sign as many as a few hundred, beginning with his inaugural tomorrow. According to Fox News, on day one, President Trump is going to strip the security clearances of over 50 intelligence agents who lied about the Hunter Biden laptop. Booyah, baby. That's beautiful. We talked about just a short time ago how apparently there's already a leak. Somebody is talking at a school and speaking to the media, specifically the Wall Street Journal, about early targets for these mass deportation raids. There is no way that we can succeed, our movement can succeed, unless we clear some of these scumbags out and send them packing. They need to be removed from office. They need to be blackballed. And in some instances, they need to be prosecuted. But stripping their security clearances for participating in one of the worst hoax in the history of the national security ecosystem, that's a good first step. That's a good first step. Look, how much have we heard about election interference in recent years? That is one of the most tangible examples of election interference. And someone bullied poor Mark Zuckerberg, right? And he has since repented. Mea culpa, mea maxima culpa, right? For allowing his website to censor Hunter Biden laptop stories. There's got to be, we need justice, folks. We need justice. And the first step towards justice is transparency and making sure that the bad elements that are in our government are removed once and for all and forever. And of course, these drips will be cropping up here or there. They'll end up on MSNBC if MSNBC continues to be a thing. As an analyst, they'll go to some lefty think tank, but they'll forever have that black mark of having their security clearance pulled, which is a heck of a demerit in that world. So that's something to get excited about, among other things. We're also learning that many, and this isn't very surprising, many of the early executive orders that President Trump plans to sign off on are related to the arena of national security and specifically border security. On his first day in office, it's been reported, President Trump is going to declare a national emergency concerning the U.S.-Mexico border. And there's going to be as many as 200 executive orders specifically related to securing this country. We need this so badly. So badly. We could, and this is one of the frustrating things about the border, and we talked about it a lot during the election because the Democrats clumsily tried to blame Republicans for not passing a border bill. We're going to get the ultimate proof that that was bunk in under 24 hours now because President Trump can do everything he needs to do to secure it. Now, the one thing that's going to be a little more difficult is if you have far-left mayors and governors, like my governor in my home state, Phil Murphy, who actively undermine the president. But you know what? Let them try. Let them out themselves. And in states like New Jersey, let the Democrats running for governor take a position one way or the other. They know that it's perilous. That's why two of them, Mikey Sherrill and Josh Gottheimer, congressmen in New Jersey running as Democrats for governor, recently decided to not even vote on the Laken-Riley Act. They know what's up. So that's going to be one of the many outgrowths of what Donald Trump is about to do, right? It's going to secure our border, but it's also going to force Democrats to take a stand in front of the voters, and then voters are going to have an opportunity to decide. Do you want to return to chaos? Do you want more Laken-Rileys? Or do you want to move forward, make this country safe again so that we can get busy making it great again? I don't think it's very complicated. I don't think it's very controversial, as the dweebs over at NJ.com are suggesting. But hey, you know what? It's hard to think like an idiot when you're not one, Andrew. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to anticipate what it is that they're trying to do, just because it's like you said. I mean, I don't know. It's trying to anticipate, like from our perspective, even though we are conservative, we vote Republican. We're for Donald Trump and America.
America.
Heck yeah. I think it's more about. In my mind at least, it's hard for me to understand. It's like you clearly care so much more about your own agenda or your political party's agenda or your own group's people, whoever they are, agenda, that you're willing to compromise the safety, the security, the prosperity, and the freedom of actual living Americans because you care more about your own personal agenda.
Yes, right.
And that's what's so concerning to me. It's like you're willing to go against something that's clearly going to make the country better, but you care more about talking points and political rhetoric and not going up against because he's the evil orange man. It's like I just don't understand. I just don't understand that mindset at all.
No, you would put your own citizens at risk. You'd put your own families at risk.
I mean, we had a lot of that the last 4 years, to be honest with you.
All to prove some kind of wacky political point. It's hard for those of us that are sane and have some shred of a moral core, right? It's hard for us to grasp. Busy night, by the way, over on the YouTube page, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Hi to you, Tony. Happy Inauguration Eve, man. Margaret, because there was a little bit of talk. We had Jack Ciattarelli on tonight, one of the Republican candidates. She said, I did ask Matt last week about Jack not endorsing DJT, and now he is down there for the inauguration. I believe he did endorse, and I got to double check this. I'm pretty sure he endorsed Trump in 2024. We'll talk more about this on the show as election season progresses, because I'm a big fan of giving all of you the information you need to make your own informed decision. Now, I can tell you right now, as far as the major New Jersey candidates, John Bramnick has been anti-Trump from the beginning. Didn't vote for him, I'm sure. Has spoken out against him as being a negative influence in our country. He's the never Trump candidate. If you want one, you got John Bramnick. Ed the trucker has been pretty MAGA, but he hasn't been around all that long, really. He only came on the scene in 2021, and when he did, he had snuck up on most people because he won that surprise victory in South Jersey over the then Democrat Senate President Steve Sweeney, who incidentally has his own quixotic run for governor going on right now this year. Jack and Bill, right? Bill Spadea and Jack Ciattarelli have both said critical things of Donald Trump in the past. Jack criticized Donald Trump for some of his positions. Bill Spadea, I think a year or two ago, went on record. There's a video floating around online of him saying that Donald Trump should not run again, that the Republican Party needs to move beyond Donald Trump. So as I've said before, and I'll say it again, I've never been a one-issue voter personally, but if that is your defining issue, and I think it's 100% fair, especially in this most recent cycle, to say, hey, is this someone who is down for supporting the president's agenda or not? When it comes to the two major candidates here, they both have a history of being less than perfect Trump supporters. So how you dice that out, I'm not going to tell you how to parse it out. I'm just going to give you the facts and let you decide. What a concept, right? But it's what I believe in here on the Matt Rooney Show. 855-839-1210. That's our number. And again, one more time, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. We're going to take a timeout, and then we'll be back with our final of 3 hours this evening. More inaugural coverage. Also, Dan Cerrucci joins me for some perspective on this inauguration and inaugurations of years past here on 1210. Don't go anywhere.
In Virginia Beach, our locals live the life every day. The art of living the life starts by connecting with what matters most: happiness. When you visit, you will realize that happiness is a real place and that it is here in Virginia Beach.
Great news! There's never been a better time to make the move to Verizon. Get over $500 in value and savings when you have mobile and Fios with Verizon. Plus, the Fios 1 Gig plan comes with a 5-year price guarantee. Save up to $300 annually on your Fios internet bill. Plus, for a limited time, get a $200 Verizon gift card when you sign up for a Fios 1 Gig plan and use it to pay your Fios bill. That's like getting 3 free months of Fios home internet. Don't miss out. Stop by your nearest Verizon location for details on this limited time offer and learn how you can get over $500 in value and savings today. Gift card offer and 5-year price guarantee ends 2/19/25. Requires Fios service for 65 days before card registration. One offer per eligible account. 3 months free based on Fios 1 Gig plan rate of $64.99 per month with auto pay and mobile plus home discounts. Price guarantee for new subscribers and applies to current base rates only. Other charges and third-party services and perks excluded. Additional terms apply. See store for details.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Damon John here, the People Shark. I want to share a secret that's changing people's lives. There is a company called National Debt Relief that can help you get out of debt faster than you ever thought possible, like 12 to 48 months from now. With National Debt Relief, you can cut your minimum credit card payments by 50% and pay as little as $250 a month. Imagine, instead of paying multiple high-interest payments every month, you can make one low monthly program payment, plus you can get approved in just a few minutes. They've helped hundreds of thousands of people just like you. Trust me when I tell you, National Debt Relief's got your back and can help you get back on track.
To learn how you can reduce your credit card debt and become debt-free, call 800-358-4422. 800-358-4422. Again, that's 800-358-4422.
Don't wait. Apply today.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios, powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Women, as well as a number of children. Over the next 6 weeks, there will be more anxious days like this.
In the nation's capital, a celebration of President-elect Trump's inauguration coming tomorrow, after which he's expected to sign 200 executive orders.
Somebody said yesterday, sir, don't sign so many in one day. Let's do it over a period of weeks. I said, like hell, we're going to do it over weeks. We're going to sign them at the beginning.
Half a dozen members of Congress have toured an estimated $250 million worth of damage left by the Los Angeles wildfires. Among them, California Democrat Brad Sherman, who called for federal assistance.
This is not a time to talk about your favorite hot-button issue, whether that be water management, forest management, even global warming.
Strong winds are returning, which may hamper the work of fire crews still battling those blazes. With a polar vortex plunging much of the nation into a deep freeze, a blanket of white covers much of the eastern U.S. CBS News meteorologist Nikki Nolan.
Widespread snow accumulations are upwards of 5 to 8 inches, with major cities like Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Maryland, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, New York City, and even up into Boston.
President Biden has issued more pardons. One went to Virginia House Speaker Don Scott, convicted on a non-violent federal drug charge over 30 years ago. He's grateful.
I'm very surprised. I'm very grateful. I'm very blessed. Thank you, Joe Biden.
A secret tunnel discovered last week on the U.S.-Mexico border will be sealed by Mexican authorities. Elsewhere, the U.S. auto industry ended solid with nearly 16 million vehicles sold last year, and that's up 2%. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The county just requested more electric charging stations.
Orders have really amped up at Able Electric.
We need 3 more at First and Main, and we just got another hotel chain.
It's no shock. Able Electric needs able electricians.
Grocery store wants charging stations too.
And fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, I have to tell you. I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking.
Ooh, where'd you get your windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
A federal regulator has fined one of the big three credit bureaus $15 million for failing to conduct adequate investigations of disputed information.
The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau says Equifax, quote, ignored consumer documents and evidence submitted with disputes and allowed previously deleted inaccuracies to be reinserted into credit reports. The CFPB also said Equifax provided, quote, confusing and conflicting letters to consumers about the results of its investigations and used flawed software code, which led to inaccurate consumer credit scores. Christopher Cruz, CBS News, Washington.
The average price of a dozen grade A large eggs was $4.15 during December, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. That's an increase from $2.51 the previous December. The Bureau says the increase is being pushed by bird flu outbreaks and state laws about cage-free bird eggs. Egg prices could rise another 20% this year. Michael Toscano, CBS News.
The county just requested more electric charging stations.
Orders have really amped up at Able Electric.
We need 3 more at First and Main, and we just got another hotel chain.
It's no shock. Able Electric needs able electricians.
Grocery store wants charging stations too.
And fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, I have to tell you. I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
Designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking. Ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios, powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Live and local with Matt Rooney on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another stirring edition of the Matt Rooney Show, our Trace of Trace, for those of you that are listening that are about to be deported. Why are you shaking your head for?
Too soon?
Too soon?
Maybe.
Too soon?
Unless you live in Chicago and you got an
Unless
early
you live in
warning.
Chicago, right? Yeah,
I
well,
don't know.
listen, I don't know what to tell you. We're done playing around. If you're here illegally, and especially if you commit crimes against your fellow citizens, you're out of here. That's one of the many things that will begin to change tomorrow when Donald Trump takes the oath of office and becomes officially our 47th president of the United States of America. I could not be more excited. And look, as we've said many times on this program, look it up, folks. Go to the interwebs. Use the Google, whatever search engine you like. Who in this country are the number one victims of illegal alien crime? I've got to I'll help you with process of elimination here. It's not white Karen in the suburbs driving her Subaru, right, to yoga on Saturday morning. She works from home. The hardest thing about COVID for her was that she had to wash her mask and she ran out of things to watch on Netflix while she was subsisting on direct deposit. It's other Hispanics, specifically those that are here legally and came here the right way and want all the same things that everyone else wants. What do you want? Think about it. I know it seems like a painfully obvious question. You want good schools that teach your kids how to read and write and do math, right? And prepares them for the world. You don't want your schools focusing on woke priorities. You want to be able to keep as much of your money as you can so you can spend it on your family. You want the freedom to thrive, that you can advance and that your kids can eventually do better than you did. You want to not go to bed every night fretting over not World War III is going to break out for no good reason. It ain't complicated, despite the best efforts of some on the left to convince you that it is. tomorrow begins the next stage of that discussion of our grand national project to realign the priorities of our government towards America First principles and away from the nonsense that the left has used to distract us, degrade us, divide us, specifically over the course of the past 4 years. I hope you're excited because I sure am too. Even with my beleaguered voice from trying to have very aggressive chats with people at inaugural balls over the weekend, right? Because it's loud in there. So you have to talk up so you can hear. And I also have very small, congenitally small ears. Check out how small my ears are. My wife likes to make fun of me for this. So it's like having smaller satellite dishes. It's harder to pick it up when somebody's talking to me. So I'm yelling. I'm trying to hear. My voice is now shot. But if you can't tell, because my voice is a little rough right now, I am so stoked about what's to come in less than 24 hours. What's the count now? It's 9 o'clock, past 9 o'clock in the East. 15 hours, under 15 hours to go until President Donald John Trump. 855-839-1210 is the number over on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. We appreciate everyone joining us on Inauguration Eve. Strong turnout tonight. Chris, Rosalie, Suze Loves Jeffy, John. The list goes on. Thank you for being with us. And, of course, everyone listening the good old-fashioned way via the radio or the Odyssey app. Snowy night. We're expected in the Delaware Valley to get, let me see what the latest is. I looked at the National Weather Service. I think they said 4 to 6 for our core listening area in South Jersey. And then, of course, in some places it could get a little bit thicker, Andrew, by morning time. So I'm expecting that you're probably going to have some school cancellations.
Yeah.
You're going to have some late openings.
Yeah.
You're going to have some slip sliding away in the morning, so you got to be careful. You got to do the duck walk.
Are there going to be aren't schools closed because it's MLK Day?
Many are, but not all.
Okay.
Not all. I know some private schools.
Yeah, I know.
Are open.
Yeah. My nephew goes to school in Mount Laurel, and I know he's off.
Yeah.
So he's not going to have to worry about it.
Yeah. So many kids are off, but not all are.
Uh-huh.
Not everybody takes MLK Day.
Yeah.
Because also you got to remember the left keeps creating new holidays that they need to make sure that everybody's off for as well.
My wife gets to be home. She works for the state of New Jersey, so she gets the day off.
Well, I'm happy to pay taxes so your wife can have a day off, my man.
We appreciate
it. It's the least that my family can do.
Right.
Now, do you want your wife off tomorrow? You can be honest if she's not listening.
No. It's great. It's well, the crazy thing is it's like because like she works during the day, during the week, right? And she works a couple days at home, but for the most part, she's like an 8 to 4, 9 to 5 type job, right? But because of my other employment with a sports organization that plays primarily at night, when she comes home, when she's working during the day, I have the day with the kids, and then when she comes home, she has the kids at night. So for the majority of the week, we don't get to spend that much quality time together. So whenever she gets a day off or she gets to work from home, it's kind of nice for everybody to kind of.
So it's good for the division of labor at Torres' household.
I guess that's one way of putting it.
Okay, all right. Hey, listen, whatever works best for you, bud. That's what I want.
Right. I appreciate it.
Now I'll be working tomorrow.
Okay.
Because it's a day on, not a day off for me.
Well, you were talking about before. There's a lot of stuff you're working on. You got to get some stuff done, send some emails and all that.
I got a lot cracking.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a full day off for yours truly.
Yeah.
My life is more lived in chunks of time.
Mm-hmm.
I take 3 hours here to go do something. But yeah, no, the work continues. The work continues, folks. Inauguration Day, the day after, it's an opportunity to redouble our efforts, as I said a little bit earlier here, a moment ago, to advance our grand national project. And if you live in New Jersey like I do, 2025, there are no days off between now and November. You can sleep next Christmas. Until then, I don't want to hear it.
Thanksgiving. Because the election's is in the beginning of the month, and then Thanksgiving's at the...
Yeah. Well, let's not even get into when the Christmas season starts. We just got done with that debate.
No. I 100%.
I'm using that as an umbrella for the holidays.
Yeah,
yes.
I understand. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yes.
Save the argument for later, though.
Save the argument for later.
Mm-hmm.
Put a pin in that one, brother.
Let's just get through the Super Bowl first.
Let's get through the Super Bowl first, but don't go count any chickens before they hatch here. The birds, the Eagles are going to the national game.
Mm-hmm.
The phrase Super Bowl should not leave your mouth.
No, well, so I would be more concerned. Like right now, the Ravens and the Bills are battling and all that stuff in the divisional round in the AFC. So next week, the winner of this game has to play the Chiefs and the refs. I mean, just the Chiefs. So that'll be fun. I think it'll be interesting to see if I do think the Eagles are going to beat the Washington Commanders and make it to the Super Bowl again. My only concern is if you sometimes I can be a bit of a sports conspiracy theorist. There have been a lot of stuff going on with the refs making questionable or not making questionable decisions regarding the Kansas City Chiefs. Just saying.
Well, they've got this favored nation status for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
And some of that I thought was an outgrowth of the Taylor Swift obsession.
Mm.
You know, her and Kelsey
mm-hmm.
with his increasingly ridiculous fashions. And he's not playing as well as he was last year.
He's 35 years old.
Okay, all right. Well,
no, but I'm saying like
I understand your point.
He ain't no spring chicken in football in any sport. 35 years old is old.
Whatever the reason, though, he's still playing, and he's not playing quite as well as he did last year.
The whole thing.
The upside of that is we have to look at Taylor less.
Yeah, if he retires, or she breaks up with him and goes out with another football
and then
player.
writes a song about him.
Mm-hmm.
Something about being 35 and feeling old.
I went to the Super Bowl. Our best days were behind us.
Yeah.
It's about the NFL knows exactly what they're doing. They're growing their brand in an area that they never were able to reach before.
I don't care. I want football back. I want football back. First it was the
makes
kneeling.
sense, though.
First it was the kneeling. Then it was having a look at Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Look, we're not going to revisit this tonight. This is a happy day.
Right.
Right? Inauguration Eve. We're not going to sully it with people that don't deserve it. Don't try to bring me down this path right now.
No, you're right.
Of course I'm right.
No, yeah.
855-839-1210, folks. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Let's take a time out a little early tonight because we're going to be joined by my main man, Dan Cerrucci, here in just a little bit to run through tomorrow's inaugural, what it means for our country, which you know what it means, but Dan's always got a unique perspective. And also, let's look back to some inaugurations of years gone by. It's a rich tapestry that ties this nation together. That's what the presidency is. And I'm all here for it because I'm a politics history nerd. No apologies. Here on the Matt Rooney Show. Again, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Very brief timeout. Back in a second.
Is your home cold and drafty, or windows and doors just won't open like they used to anymore? Brighten your home with new doors and windows from Emmons Roofing and Siding.
We offer a wide selection to fit your style and budget, ensuring energy efficiency and aesthetic appeal.
And new doors and windows enhance your home's value and comfort.
Call us today at 856-885-6677 or visit us at callemmons.com.
From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
Dawn Stensland here. My friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles feature the latest luxury vehicles from today's top brands. Mercedes-Benz, Jaguar, Land Rover, BMW, Porsche, Alfa Romeo, Maserati, and more. Sleek new designs and innovative features with thousands of new and certified pre-owned vehicles available across Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New Jersey. Piazza Premium Automobiles stands out. Visit PiazzaPremiumAutos.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause. Brought to you by the Labor and Energy Alliance this Saturday night at 6. Find out about the important issues that will affect you. The Labor and Energy Show, Saturday night at 6 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
If you're talking, they will hear you every single time.
Oh, we're getting killed.
Yeah, well, Kyle's not here.
How come?
Kicked off the team. Didn't Tim tell you? Kyle and some other kids got caught drinking beer in the park a couple of nights ago.
Really?
Yeah. 0 tolerance. He's out for the season.
Come on, it's a first offense, right?
That we know of. But why should that matter? He knew not to drink. I've made it clear to Matt, that's what we expect from him. What have you said to Tim?
Nothing really. You know, a lot of kids try it at this age, so...
Yeah, well, a lot of kids don't try it too. I'm not saying that Matt's gonna be this perfect kid, but if I don't tell him what we expect and why he shouldn't drink, how's he gonna know?
You think kids that age really listen?
They never admit it, Bill, but they hear more than you think.
Talk. They hear you. For more information about talking with kids about underage drinking, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
For almost 10 years, I've been a lineman for the power company. I know that service is important. That's why I also serve in the Coast Guard Reserve. Our crews respond to rising floodwaters in the Midwest, oil spills in the Gulf of Mexico, and disasters like the Haiti earthquake. The Coast Guard Reserve is a challenge I gladly take on because my country needs me.
If you were born ready, learn more at GoCoastGuard.com.
Sponsored by the United States Coast Guard in cooperation with the Pennsylvania Association of Broadcasters and this station.
NASCAR champion Bobby Labonte here with my brother Terry and my nephew Justin. You know, every sport has its essential safety gear.
For racing, we wear helmets, fire retardant suits, and Nomex gloves.
For fishing, waterfowl hunting, and boating, we wear life jackets.
After an intense race, there's nothing more relaxing than bass fishing.
Or a little duck hunting on the lake.
But we're the first ones to tell you, on the track or on the water, accidents happen fast.
In a crash, there's no time to put on a helmet. And when a boater capsizes or is thrown from the boat, there's rarely time to reach a stowed life jacket.
But today's life jackets are lightweight and comfortable. Fishing or hunting, they don't get in your way.
That's why you won't catch a Labonte on the water without a life jacket.
Don't let us catch you either. Remember, you're in command. Boat safely.
This message brought to you by the United States Coast Guard. For more information on boating safety, visit www.uscgboating.org.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
They even had a crypto ball in D.C. this weekend for the inauguration. And apparently Snoop Dogg performed. What's that look for? You look like you just smelled a rotten egg or something. You not a fan of Snoop-a-Loop?
Just doesn't, I don't know. I'm not trying to say that all Hollywood entertaining people are, you know, they're not conservative, but I wouldn't have pegged him for being one of those.
Well, I don't think he is.
I don't think
Mr. Gin and Juice is particularly conservative. I think what's happened, and we've talked about this before in the program, is that many in Hollywood, in the boardrooms of large businesses, and you've seen an example of this with DEI programs getting rolled back, they've kind of realized based upon the election results that, hey, the country isn't what we thought it was maybe trending towards. The electorate, more specifically our consumer base, is not as woke as we thought that it was. So either it's okay to not indulge that stuff, or, hey, maybe that's not the growth trajectory that we thought it might have been even a year ago. So that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
It's a correction.
Yeah.
The great correction.
It's about money. And
yes.
They're going to, looks like if they didn't change it, we're going to lose a lot of it. So
yeah. That's 100% correct.
Yeah. Makes sense to me.
Makes sense to me, too. Money makes the world go round, ladies and gents. Well, tomorrow is a big day for our country. It's an historically significant day. Whenever we are trying to gain perspective, we like to have on one of our regular guests on the Matt Rooney Show. He is a man that wears many hats. He is a PR professional. He was a PR professor. He is the proprietor of dancerucci.com, where he writes about politics and public affairs, yes, but also art, culture, travel, you name it. Everything interests our next guest, Dan Cerrucci. And we want to talk to him about the inauguration, both inauguration present and inaugurations past. Dan, happy Inauguration Eve, my friend.
Oh, and the same to you. And this is the last night we'll be going to bed with Joe Biden as our president.
Oh, just that pronouncement. I can imagine myself sleeping a lot more soundly tomorrow night when my head inevitably hits the pillow. I called it a long national nightmare, and obviously that phrase is not unique to me. I didn't invent it. It's been used and applied to past presidential regimes, but goodness gracious, I mean, it's never been more accurately applied to an administration. It's just been one horror show after another. It's going to be awfully hard when historians, at least the honest ones, write the book on the Biden administration to find anything positive to say.
And I remember when Gerald Ford said, our long national nightmare is over. I remember him making that speech, but Matt, we have 14 hours, 34 minutes, and 1 second to go.
Yeah, we're almost at the finish line. I was in D.C. this weekend, as you know, Dan. Had a great time. I'm actually glad I came back because, as Andrew and I were talking about a minute ago, I'm starting to get some closing alerts on my phone. And I would have been trapped down there. I would have been fine being trapped down there if I was able, along with thousands of others, to actually witness it on the mall.
Right.
But I won't be able to. The last time this happened, where they had to move the inauguration indoors, was January 20th, 1985. And we all remember who took the oath of office that year.
Right, Ronald Reagan. I was not there. I did not attend the Reagan inaugurations because at that time my kids were too small. They were too young. And I just, I couldn't make it. It was, you know how it is when you have young kids.
Oh, sure.
But I did attend the 2000 and 2004, both inaugurations of George W. Bush. And I was fortunate enough to have a seat in front of the platform where the inaugural oath is given. But I got to tell you, Matt, that platform is so high. And even if you were to be like in the first few rows of seats, which I certainly was not, you're still so far away from it that you're better to watch it on one of the Jumbotron screens that they have set up down there.
Well, that's what you end up watching anyway. I mean, when I went to, because the one that I attended was George W. Bush in 2004. I was in college at the time in Washington, D.C., and I was lucky enough to be on the main lawn. So I wasn't further back on the mall, but the president was still the size of a small action figure.
Exactly.
And you end up watching the Jumbotron anyway, because obviously you want to see his face when he's taking this solemn oath. You want to, the thing you get from TV that you don't get when you're in person, because it is a soap opera, right? You want to see the face of Joe Biden. You want to see Kamala Harris's reaction. You want to see Barack Obama's reaction. That's part of the fun, and you don't get that when you're in person, sadly.
And there are thousands and thousands of people, and it's freezing, usually freezing cold, and the ground is cold. The chairs are, sitting on a cold, wet, sometimes frozen grass or dirt. Okay?
Yes.
And you're out there, and you have to pass, as you know, through, especially post 9/11, it got even worse, and in recent years it's worse. So many security checkpoints.
And Dan, it's unlike anything you've ever seen this week.
Right.
I was just down there, and it's further complicated by the fact that they had that rally in Chinatown at the Caps Arena in D.C. But for dozens of blocks, every single hotel and major piece of infrastructure is blocked off by those large barricade fences that are maybe about 10 feet tall. Yeah, and they have little openings. And the police are doing what best can be described as maneuvers, where you see an ambulance and those black SUVs and some police vehicles driving up and down streets. You don't get the impression that somebody's necessarily in them. There's also a lot of National Guardsmen there in their uniform with very scary pieces of firearms attached to them. They're definitely trying to send a message, but it definitely gives you that armed camp feel. But the downside is that even if the weather wasn't horrendous, you really wouldn't be able to do what I like to call the Mr. Smith tour, where you just kind of wander around the mall and look at the monuments and take in these incredible sights at our nation's capital. You can't really do that.
No.
So, I remember when I was there, it was also very cold. And there was this one part where the president, during his oath of office, the sun came out for a brief period of time, which at the time I thought was somewhat symbolic. Now, the sun never really ever came out for George W. Bush during his second term in office. I think he left office with like a 28% approval rating.
Now, the final year was a complete catastrophe. We had the great economic collapse of 2008. And Matt, I'm so glad that you've been warning your listeners tonight, to be a little bit careful about all this euphoria, because the other side is going to come roaring back. They're still out for the kill. Mm-hmm. They're full of piss and vinegar, if you will, and they're bloodthirsty. They're as bloodthirsty as ever. They're just not being very vocal about it. So, I'm so happy that President Trump is going to try to do everything very, very quickly in double or triple time in the first few days, weeks, months, because these people are ferocious, Matt, and they are coming back, and we've got to be ready for them.
Right. Yeah, they're ferocious, and because they're moral relativists, right, they don't play by the same rules that the Republican coalition has traditionally played by. But you do get the sense that Donald Trump and his team have a different perspective heading into Donald Trump's second inauguration day. Over 300 executive orders apparently in the hopper. I don't think we've seen anything like that. Usually the president signs a few symbolic ones on the first day. This would be something altogether new.
Well, they're promising shock and awe. I mean, they're promising this is going to be absolutely breathtaking tomorrow. But you have to remember that this is going to also tremendously rile up the other side. I mean, they're going to go into a state of agitation. We know that they're very emotional people. They're not rational. And they're going to go into a state of agitation like you've never seen. And the minute that this administration slips up even a little bit, the media will be right on top of him. Don't think that they've mellowed, okay? Don't think that the media have mellowed, all right? They're just in a mode to trick you for now, okay? They have not mellowed. They are ready to pounce, and they will pounce as soon as they can. They won't wait. They'll say that they gave him a honeymoon, but it'll be the shortest damn honeymoon you ever saw. So we've got to be ready. We've got to be ready. This honeymoon is going to be, shorter than any Hollywood star ever had who was married for 5 minutes. And there've been quite a few of them.
There have been quite a few of them over the course of the years. So, yeah, you're right. It's going to be a very short honeymoon. Now, of course, whether or not the media finds its footing and figures out how to successfully attack Donald Trump, they haven't done it so far. So maybe they'll finally learn how to land a punch in his second historic term. It's only the second time in American history an American president has had a non-consecutive term. And then, of course, Dan, something we talked about earlier tonight in the program is the need to finally root out the deep state. President Trump has teased that at least some of these executive orders are going to be aimed at the deep state. We reported earlier that apparently 51 folks with security clearances are going to have them revoked in the beginning days of the Trump administration because they participated in the Hunter Biden laptop debacle. I also just saw a report online from the Washington Post that apparently scores of senior career diplomats and State Department officials are set to resign effective noon on Monday, allegedly because they're being told by the Trump administration, your time is up. Resign or be fired.
Get the hell out. Of course, the media are going to call this revenge, and they're going to say he's engaged in revenge instead of doing the positive things that he said he would do. And he's going to spend his time trying to punish people. So, but he shouldn't worry about that. He should do what he has to do. Because as these people are in Washington, and you've seen the thousands of them there already, as you've just come back from there, Matt, celebrating, okay? The deep state people who are laying low now, they will be, and there are tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of them, all right? They will be back in Washington and at their posts on Tuesday, and they have seen numerous politicians of both parties come and go. Their feeling is, you can come, you can go, we've seen it all, we endure forever. And that's why it's called the deep state.
Right.
And why it's so hard to shake loose.
But you nailed it, though. He shouldn't be afraid for a number of reasons, most importantly of which is the results will speak for themselves. The president is going to be able to achieve what he promised if he's able to dislodge these corrosive elements within our federal government. So I'm heartened to hear some of this because it sounds like we're on the right track. You're a student of history like me, Dan. There really is nothing in memory that compares to what we're going to see tomorrow, is there?
No. Starting with the fact, as you've already pointed out, that he's only the second president in history to come back after losing and serve not 2 consecutive terms. This is just incredible. But on top of all that, what president has been impeached twice, is a convicted felon, was almost just barely survived an assassination attempt, 2 assassination attempts,
right,
and came back to win. I mean, there were so many firsts here that it really, literally is breathtaking. It's hard to even begin to express it. This is something, there's so many stories here. And let me say another thing, Matt. One of the big stories that the local media are missing, okay, is that there are so many people from the Philadelphia area like you and Judge Donahue that have just been put in charge of the America First for New Jersey, okay, and so many other people like that from this area, we could go on, that have been very important and instrumental in this victory, in this historic victory. So many people from the southeastern Pennsylvania and southern New Jersey area that it could make a major story in the Inquirer, Philadelphia Magazine, any one of a number of media outlets. This is so significant. And it simply is not being covered because the media in this area are so liberal and so snarky and so biased and so jealous, I think, in many ways.
No, I think that's right. They are jealous.
Sad. It's really sad.
It is. We talked about NJ.com earlier, right? Which is still
terrible.
Yeah, which is one of the larger news outlets on our side of the river in the dirty jurors, suggesting that Trump's agenda is something extreme, which must be resisted. I'm looking right now at the Philadelphia Inquirer,
my God.
their website, right? You would think the inauguration would be above the fold. It's not. The Eagles is up there. I approve. I approve of that. But you got to scroll down a little bit further. Trump's inauguration promises celebration and major executive orders that could shake up. PA. I can't wait to see what they have to say tomorrow. I think the media had arguably the most to lose in election 2024, and second only to maybe Kamala Harris. They're emerging as the biggest loser of that election cycle. Is anybody really paying attention to them anymore? Do they have any influence?
They don't seem to realize this. They don't seem to realize this. Either they don't realize it or don't care. You want to take some of them out and introduce them to everyday, ordinary people and let them hear what they think of them. Because everyday, ordinary people increasingly have disdain for traditional and mainstream media if they have any knowledge of it at all.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's right.
They don't seem to, this has been going on for years. It goes back to when I was in public relations. The media are incestuous. They are incestuous. They engage in groupthink. They live in their own enclosed world. They close ranks very quickly if you dare to criticize them, for the most part. They close ranks very, very quickly. And of course, it's very bad. It's the exact opposite of what they should be, and what they should have been taught in journalism school, or what we commonly call J school. But that's the way it is. And one of the big things that Donald Trump did, of course, was he came along and he broke the rule. You know, we used to say in the old days, don't ever get into an argument with people who buy ink by the barrelful. Well, he broke that rule. He said, to hell with that. I'm going to tell them what they're really all about. I'm going to call them out.
He also probably realized they'd run out of ink, right?
That's exactly. They ran out of ink.
That's the other problem.
They run out of newspapers too.
Yes, Dan, how are you taking it in tomorrow? You gonna sit back in an armchair and watch it on TV?
I am. I'm going to, yes, because like you, I don't want a lot of people yapping in the background, telling me, interpreting it for me. I want to watch it myself and absorb it all myself. And then tomorrow night, I'm going to a wonderful local inaugural ball here at the Union League. I went 8 years ago, and it was great fun. And there's plenty to eat and drink. It doesn't cost a fortune. And there's wonderful people there. And I'll be home in bed probably by 10 o'clock.
Sounds like a dream to me.
Because, you know, Matt, there's nothing like sleeping in your own bed.
Oh, it's so true. And I said it earlier in the show multiple times. I had such a fun time down there, but I'm at that stage of life where I have the young kids, so staying up till 2:30 in the morning, the struggle is real, my friend. Dan Cerrucci, everyone, of dancerrucci.com. You want to check him out every week, every day, then you can, for his coverage and commentary. Especially, I'm sure he's going to have some more interesting things to say about not only tomorrow, Inauguration Day, but the immediate aftermath as President Trump's second term gets underway, an historic one. And we hope a great one. We've got a lot of faith. Dan, we appreciate you joining us, my friend. Enjoy tomorrow.
You too. It's always a pleasure, Matt.
Likewise, sir. You're listening to the Matt Rooney Show. Let's take one more break, and then we'll be back in just a few. Don't move a muscle.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
I zipped him too quickly, and he says, I want my damn flag. Ray in Warminster.
You Christmas story Santa Claus me. I'm hurt.
If you can come to the inauguration party that we're having at the Newtown Athletic Club next Monday, we will do the handoff there.
I'm going to do my very best, and I appreciate you guys very much.
You got it. All right. Can I hang up on him? I don't want to. All right.
Yeah.
All right, I'm hitting the drop button. There we go. There he is.
Thanks, Ray.
In Warminster, joining us here again.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Are you looking to achieve your health goals and start the new year right? Well, now's the time to optimize and support your heart health, cholesterol, digestive health, energy levels, and more with Rescue Natural Supplements with their New Year's savings. Rescue is celebrating you, so save 35% on single bottles of Rescue supplements with the code HEALTH35. Try the popular Rescue 1250 Omega-3 for heart health, Rescue Probiotic for better digestion, or Rescue Oracine for more energy. Whatever your health goals are, Rescue has you covered. To place an order, call 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable Rescue product consultant or shop online at res-q.com. res-q.com. Start your journey to better health today. Use the code HEALTH35. Again, save 35% on all single supplements. Use that code HEALTH35. Don't wait. Make this year your best yet with Rescue.
When you're still looking for love, Valentine's Day sucks. Every restaurant is fully booked. Suddenly, all chocolates are heart-shaped, and all the PDA. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
In Virginia Beach, our locals live the life every day. In fact, we can't wait to share our way of life with new friends. It's no secret that we are known as one of the happiest communities in the country. Virginia Beach is a friendly hug, a warm handshake, a hearty laugh, and a healthy dose of the unexpected. The art of living the life starts by connecting with what matters most: happiness. When you visit, you will realize that happiness is a real place, and that it is here in Virginia Beach.
If you or someone you know suffered any injuries involving a deployed airbag, you could be entitled to compensation. Morgan & Morgan has already recovered millions. Get America's largest injury law firm fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
Hey, Ambler. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210, WPHT. Follow us anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
Not everyone is in the inaugural spirit, ladies and gents. Something like 4,000 police officers around the country have reportedly volunteered to help with security for President Trump's inauguration, which is awesome. I mentioned earlier the logistics of securing the Capitol for this thing. Hard to fathom. But a number of local police departments are reportedly declining to provide services for the president's inauguration, which is traditionally the case. That's according to townhall.com. Apparently, some of it has to do with internal disputes over the Washington Metro Police Department's use of force policy. in which they agreed in a lawsuit settlement to restrict the use of sting balls or explosive devices on protests and rioters. And then there's some other departments, Howard and Queen Anne County's police. They said they're not going to support the Metro Police Department during the inauguration festivities. Not a lot of details provided. Queen Anne County's police said technical difficulties. Listen, one of the themes of tonight's program, enjoy tomorrow, but don't in any way think that the battle is won. And it's not just because of these types of things. It's also that there are still plenty of nut jobs on Capitol Hill. One of them is New Jersey's freshman senator, newly minted freshman senator, Andy Kim. I want to remind you with a clip as we head out the door this evening of how not ready for prime time the current Democrat leadership is. So this guy, he was a congressman for a number of years. He's now a United States senator. And during last week's confirmation hearing for Kristi Noem, who's going to lead the Department of Homeland Security, I don't know if Andy Kim just didn't prepare. We've all done this in a class before, right, when you're in school. Or if he just wanted to hear the sound of his own voice. He attempted to ask her a question, and I'm going to see if all of you out there can piece together what he was trying to get at. I think we've got the cut ready, right? Let's hit it.
Certain about roles and responsibilities regarding your position and Tom Homan's. I guess I just want to ask you just point blank, like, who's going to be in charge of the border?
Well, the president will be in charge of the border. It's a national security issue, and the president is in charge of this country and has made a promise to the American people, and we will fulfill his agenda.
Well, that was a good answer. It's the answer I would have given as well. But I guess I got confused. When Trump made the announcement about Tom Homan, he said, quote, I'm pleased to announce that Tom Homan, and said that he's in charge of our nation's borders. Mm-hmm. So I guess, again, I'd just like to go back to you. How are you going to work with Mr. Homan? What is the division there? I'm trying to get a better sense of who's in charge.
Yeah, Tom Homan is an incredible human being who has over 30 years of experience.
Incredible experience.
Yeah,
I get
at
that.
The border,
I'm just trying to think through
the insight and wisdom.
Decision-making process when it comes to your work. For instance, will he be giving orders directly to CBP, ICE, USCIS?
Tom Homan has a direct line to the president. He is an advisor to the president, the border czar. I obviously will be, if nominated and confirmed, and put into the position of being the Department of Homeland Security Secretary and responsible for the authorities that we have and the actions that we take.
I say this because I actually want to make sure that we're empowering the next Secretary of Homeland Security.
Yes.
You know, in the legislation that was codified by Congress and moved forward that started this after September 11th, it said, quote, all functions of all offices, employees, and organizational units of the department are vested in the Secretary. Mm-hmm. So I guess the reason why I mentioned this is I've just seen some quotes from Mr. Homan where he said, quote, I'll be making decisions on border security and deportation. He was asked in another interview about the stronger role that he'll play, and he said, absolutely, I'll be making decisions on how we do the border. Mm-hmm. So I just raise that as a concern of mine, because not only is that about the function of our executive branch, but also the capabilities of this committee to be able to properly do our constitutional duties for oversight, the ability for us to be able to have that conversation. We can talk to you, engage with you, that is the direct way. But if he is going to be making decisions, then he should come before this committee as well. And I know that that's something where, as far as I know, his role will be directly at the White House, is not something that will be under the purview directly of this committee. So I just wanted to raise those concerns.
Yeah, Tom and I work very well together and talk and communicate all the time, and we'll be working together on a daily basis when we're in our positions under the new administration. And I would say there's no authorities being planned to be taken away from the department or myself if I'm in the role, and we'll continue to oversee CBP.
And this line of questioning, just so you know, folks, goes on for like another. It goes on for like another 2 minutes.
He's in charge of our border. So I just
with Andy Kim asking the same thing over and over and over again. He goes on to say, "I'm confused. Who's going to be in charge of the border?" President Trump. But Trump said it would be border czar Tom Homan. Tom Homan serves under the president. Homan says he's going to be making decisions on border security. That's a concern of mine. Tom and I are working directly under the president. I mean, I guess maybe you can forgive some of his confusion because Kamala Harris was the border czar and did nothing. So there's that. But I don't know if Andy needs this basic civics lesson, or maybe someone can get him an organizational chart. You know, the president has certain executive officers that report to him. It's not that complicated. This is the quality or lack thereof of the people that we have in Congress right now on the Democrat side of the aisle. And it's scary. So carry that forward, folks, in the weeks and months to come. That remember that even though we won this election, we have President Trump, right? You've got a relatively narrow majority in the U.S. Senate, and you've got like a one vote advantage in the U.S. House. One person gets a cold, and the president's agenda, at least his agenda that requires legislation, that which he can't accomplish through executive order, comes grinding to a halt and goes off the rails. So keep fighting, keep pushing, keep working, starting tomorrow. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. But remember Andy Kim's inane questioning and use it as motivation after you take the correct medicine that you need to eliminate the headache that he gave you from having to suffer through that. Listen, I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight at our Inauguration Eve episode of the Matt Rooney Show. Thank you to producer Andrew for all of your help. Thank you to everybody that watched and listened online. Thank you to everyone that listened and participated the good old-fashioned way. I hope that you have the greatest time tomorrow, however you are enjoying the inauguration of Donald Trump. We made it. I'm fist pumping in true Jersey fashion. And until we meet again next week on the Matt Rooney Show, stay safe, stay sane, and keep fighting for this greatest nation in God's creation. It's worth it.
Hi, it's Nick Cale. If you missed our Veteran Spotlight this month, you missed the story of United States Marine Corps veteran Gabe Rangel and how he is still serving